Caroline County Board of Supervisors work session, continued meeting from the 24th to order. With us tonight, I reconvene. With us is Mr. Reginald Underwood, Reedy Church, Mrs. Nancy Long from Port Royal, Mr. Floyd Thomas from Mattapan, and I'm Jeff Seeley from Bowling Green. Is Mr. Black on the line? Okay, and we have Mr. Black on Zoom, who is not in town, also attending the meeting. So with that, we're going to proceed with agenda item 1, which is presentation of the county administrator's proposed budget for 2026-2027. Mr. Cully.
Button to push that one. It's been so long since I sat up here. Thank you for letting me sit and do this instead of stand. I created a quick PowerPoint, and I'm mainly going to work in spreadsheets from for the numbers. This is FY27 proposed budget, and hopefully this will change. I've got David. This is extended. How do I move this when my screen's different from the projector? See you here. Oh, that's what it was. I got it. All right, that'll work. There, it changed. I hope.
We shall soon see.
At least we're seeing the same thing. The proposed FY27 budget contains 2,340 individual lines of account numbers for all the various funds from the general fund, Fund 100, to the Dawn Wastewater Fund, Fund 504. The proposed budget, all funds, is $198,102,086.92, which is increasing $15,437,860.90, or 8.45% from 26. Proposed general fund is $80,763,476.06, increasing $4,568,480.61, or 6% from FY26. Back. I'll give you a copy of this printout later on. Well, if I can find a place to print, but if not, I'll email it to you. And these numbers all can change just depending on what we talk about as we get in the spreadsheet. Proposed salary adjustments. As you know, the sheriff had sent you right much information, and he will be here later, but they are having an investigation in the Sparta area, and so he's running late from the meeting, but he'll be here to answer any questions. Unfortunately, the chief is out of town. I think he's at a conference, he and Deputy Chief Mark Garnett. Public safety adjustments to the scale. They had proposed two different things. One was $10,000 adjustment to the scale and a $5,000. Obviously, the 10 would be nice, but what I built into the budget was a $5,000 public safety starting pay plan, which works out to 9.41% increase from $53,124.86 to $58,124.97. Part of their problem is that works its way up the scale. Most of the other communities around us go up like 4 or 5% between steps. We only go 2%, and we only go 2% above grades. So we get people hired in these, but they don't stay because they can go to other counties as they move up, either to sergeant or different firefighter levels in our surrounding jurisdictions, and make significantly more dollars. So there are 140 public safety employees that would be receiving a 9.41% increase to their scale, and then a step with a satisfactory evaluation, which is 2%. So that math is easy. It makes the overall public safety increase 11.41%. The cost associated with that increase, which also includes FICA, VRS, and group life insurance, is $1,251,155. The regular county employees, social service employees, utility, and all the rest of I proposed the same thing as last year, which was a 2% COLA on the scale with a step with a satisfactory evaluation. That averages out to 4.25. The county pay plan was done by a consultant, does not have every step at the same percentage. So it just kind of has to be an average. So it depends on where you are, on what grade and what step as to whether that is going to be 4% or 4.1 or 4.3. It averages out to 4.25. The cost associated with all those employees with that increased FICA, VRS, disability, life insurance, $699,265.65. So the total in the budget proposed salary increase is $1,950,420.93. And like I said, the sheriff will be able to provide more information on the public safety request. The next was the requested employees, and Mr. Underwood wanted to see all of these, and I can show you in the spreadsheet what these numbers work out to be. But we had 24 general fund employee requests. Either some of them are upgrades to existing positions, some of them are upgrades from part-time to full-time, and some of them are brand new, but it's 24 total position changes, which in 2 in utilities. The 2 in the 502 fund are not part of the general fund increase and can be covered completely by the utility fund revenues.
When you go back over this, could you put a dollar amount?
Yeah, it's in the spreadsheet. This is just a high-level summary, and I'll show you in the spreadsheet what all those look like.
All right.
And we can take them in and out, and it changes the whole, what the general fund number is. Requested, yes. And that number at the beginning is, I think, 9. I have to go back and look at the spreadsheet, 9 or 10 that I had in. Associated costs for the new requested new employees. The proposed 24 additional general fund employees, costs with salary and benefits to include health insurance, because that's the biggest, a big part of that. I have to budget for a family plan because I don't know what people are going to take when they're new. And then if you're part-time, you don't have health insurance, and you go full-time, it's bigger than the increase in the wages. But it is $1,887,993.93. The proposed 2 additional utility fund employees' costs with salary and benefits to include health insurance is $195,623. And see, $60,000 of that's health insurance, and then dental is another couple, $1,400. So. And I'll show you that's all in the spreadsheet. The cost of new employees in the utility fund is covered by the proposed operating revenues of the fund. No general fund transfer to utility fund is proposed in the FY27 budget. And in a quick look today, there have been no transfer to the utility fund back to at least 23. It might be 22, but I got to dig around some more to figure out how far that goes back. But somewhere when the building boom picked up during COVID, around that time, we'd stopped transferring any money to utility fund. Plus, we've been raising rates. More connections.
Mr. Black? Mr. Black?
I just have a quick question. So is that say utility fund now? I mean, it's pretty much self-sustaining.
Yes. We're paying a debt service and operation.
But it's based on connections. It's not
connections
self-supporting.
And new connections, because those go in.
Right, but it's not self-supporting on just customer use.
Yeah. Do you know how many connections like we would need per year? I mean, basically, I remember we were transferring at the beginning, 10 years ago.
Oh yeah, we were transferring 1.9 to 2.3.
Yeah.
I think I'd have to look. I don't know that off the top of my head, and Mr. Schiebel's out of town on spring break. How many?
It's something like 200.
200 and some.
I was going to say 200 rings a bell. It was in that neighborhood.
Something like 200 is what I recall.
Oh yeah, we hit it this year before Christmas. It seemed like to me, It's good and bad.
The wastewater extender is probably more critical now than it was 5 years ago. And
We're working on that hard as we can go. We've gotten an issue with Dominion crossing an easement they have on our property of where they want us to put 90-degree turns in a 30-inch pipe, and we don't want to.
can't do that.
I know we've had multiple meetings, and still haven't gotten that resolved. And then I think where they want us to put it is a super deep cut then, because it's already way in the ground, and they want us to go where a hill is. So I don't know whether Joe would be able to tell you 30 or 35 feet in the ground. It's crazy amount in the ground. So
They're going to have to bend a little
we're
bit.
trying to force that. This next table Alan put together for me, the current tax rates in the area, as you can see, Stafford's at 92.36 per hundred, talking about going to 98.5. Part of that is this an addition, Alan, or that 14? King of Queens at 52 with us, and here we are at 52. So in the area, we're the lowest, and all of us are all. And I can assure you, Hanover reassesses my place every year, and hasn't gone down since I got it in 21. It's been 81 cents. So that was just some information I wanted to show you where we stand with tax rates. Not that any of us want tax rates to go up, but at least to understand where government services and what the rates are in adjoining localities.
Charlie, as we go forward, when you go back, can you, on this slide, tell us what 1 cent of real estate tax rate represents in terms of revenue?
Alan can make some calls.
Because I think in our case,
a lot in Stafford, Hanover,
right.
Spotsy.
And then we're talking, massive differences in population.
Right.
So some kind of impact. I know we probably can't do business versus residential, because that'd be a great number to have.
Yeah, it's hard to figure that, but you can know when you're looking at Louisa, they have a nuclear power plant, so their public service corporation amounts way more than ours. King George, they still have the landfill.
They've got the landfill.
King of Queens got a landfill.
And so does New Kent, right?
No, New Kent doesn't.
James City has the landfill down there, not New Kent.
Okay, but if we could get just what a penny in tax increase costs. Thank you, sir.
We'll work on that. The general fund without pay adjustments and new employees is increasing from $77,679,190 to from $76,110,579.25, which is $1,568,610.75. Of this increase, the following things have increased in the FY27 budget. Health insurance you approved was $666,579. Other proposed increases, currently for schools operation fund, I have $1,030,049. That is the number that the schools gave y'all at their presentation. We do not know, due to the lack of a state budget, what that number is going to be. Don't know that it's going to be any less.
Is that the mandatory contribution?
Yes, that's what they gave us as They want 1.8 something. That's in the spreadsheet. I can show you that. Social service fund, $153,674.73. transfer to capital improvement fund, $1,015,737. Dedicated personal property increase to Fund 401, $151,659. School bus purchase. School buses have gone up, and they're buying more expensive ones, and they wanted a bunch. I think they wanted 9, and I funded 8, or they wanted 8, and I funded 7. That's an increase of $208,000 to $33.25, and an increase in general fund transfer of $125,000 for the school CIP fund. So that you can see all of that's more than the 1.5 million that's listed. So there were some things that went down, obviously, in the general fund that allowed these other things to go up. If you look at general fund revenues at 52 cents, the revenue we would receive would be $77,376,802.71. That's what we would expect to receive. Every 100% paid. And so you can see that the general fund is increasing without those paid above that by $302,387.29. If you were to go a 3-cent increase to 55 cents, that would fund the proposed salary adjustments with $59,879.41 left over in revenue that we would have that we wouldn't have allocated to anything. With this rate, there would not be any revenue for new additional employees. So everybody kind of understand that.
What does that do with the public safety
It would fund the public safety and the county
and the county raises?
and everything else I've
3
listed on the other page. And we'd be 59,000 to the good, almost 60 to the good. But you can't quite hire an employee for 60 when the health insurance is 30.
Right.
So it really wouldn't leave. It might be something we could upgrade one part-timer or something, but it doesn't really leave any of the employees, which you'll see as we move further in. A 5-cent increase to 57 cents would fund the proposed general fund salary adjustments and 24 additional and converted positions with a $46,344 revenue shortfall. So 5 cents won't quite get you there. But I don't know that we need to do all 24 of those positions. That's just what's requested. So I'm kind of showing you the math. A 4-cent increase to 56 cents would fund the salary adjustments and 9 additional positions with about 11,000 of revenue left above expenses. And that would be, to get to that math, there'd be 3 fire and rescue EMTs, which would put a dedicated fire truck in Ladysmith. We currently destaff that constantly to run rescue. So there'll be the second dedicated fire truck. Be 3 deputy sheriffs. Fire and Rescue did ask for a full-time logistics. You'll see that on another page. That's not funded at this time. It would add 1 site attendance foreman. All of the other divisions of public works have a foreman under the superintendent. And when you think about the number of sites that we manage, the truck drivers and the site attendants, it's all having to be done by the superintendent. And he backfills and drives a truck when anybody's down. So Public Works through Solid Waste has asked for a site of foreman, which to me makes good operational sense. 1 combination plan reviewer. I left off ER, sorry, as I rushed for inspections to try to help. I know that things are slow over there in reviewing plans. There's so much work going on that it did not all being done. 1 public relations, Parks and Rec. We do have a new Parks and Rec director, and he amended the budget and requested that position. Seemed like a reasonable request to try to expand that program. So those would be the 9 positions that would eat up 56 cents. Another thing that's come up, and this may be hard to read for the audience, but there's projected data center revenue, and this timing came from Davenport. I did move down the Clean Arc projected revenues out of 27 because I don't believe at this juncture they're going to meet that time frame, and I'm not sure. ACS might move up to 28. Both Clean Arc and ACS are clearing for their pad for their substations. The only one that's actually working toward building is AWS. And they pulled some permits because Mark Bassoon from the commissioner told me that the contractors are paying some business license permits. So I don't know whether Jason Dowse would have to answer whether they've actually gotten a building permit or not, but they're working on their building, not just their substation. So as you see, though, you really don't start collecting super meaningful revenue till 29, with about 9 million, and 30 with 14 million, where you're really offsetting and could lower the real estate rate and still have money to continue to provide services, because you're going to continue to get asked
What is it?
for.
Is that before or after the performance contract, those numbers?
Those are after. I mean, we have no performance contract with ACS. I think that's what that star is. But I had to try to get this to fit on the screen. I didn't
And-
include everything.
Charlie, the only one that had a significant change in the land value was AWS, right?
Correct.
Correct. Yeah.
The other two were already zoned and there was no rezoning and no changes.
Correct. Yeah.
And that was in land,
Yeah.
use.
The Clean Arc had been zoned M1.
for 20 years.
Well, no, we did that for something else prior. Remember?
Yes, they were trying to find
Right. And ACS been zoned for 20 years.
right.
But yeah, AWS was the only wholesale rezoning. Of course, we got back taxes, rollback
Right.
taxes on that in a budget. But anyway, just to kind of show you where, while it's there and it's great, and we have some other, industrial projects, as you all are well aware, on the hook and working with and going through various state project things, they're not going to be providing you any significant revenue, for a little while. So just kind of wanted to show you, and that's calendar year. So 27 calendar years, the back 6 months of the FY27 budget we're talking about. So when something comes in 28 calendar year, that'll be in the 28. That'll be some revenue for you next year if those things keep moving. And you'll know that or not. Planning will be able to tell you. But anyway, just try to get this out into more of a public, and as you can see, by 35, and you should have significant revenue coming in to be able to fund debt service on utility projects, school projects, county projects, and the things that you want to do that all of us, know right much about. Moving on, just for the highlight, the county CIP projects. 12,510 is Mr. Sadler in the back with server upgrades, about $80,000 to keep up with all of our servers now. 31,200 is the sheriff, who's just arrived in a major, and those are motor vehicles, and the cost of motor vehicles have, obviously risen. That's 1,116,876. Also, last year we started a replacement for all their computers because Windows 10 expiration, and we kept some running with some additional license and bought some last year. I think the sheriff, you found some money for me, and we got some of them, but to finish up the rest of the Windows 10 is about another 195,737. And unfortunately, that number was given to me, probably in November. And we've been seeing extreme since the war, extreme computer price jumps. So hopefully by the time this budget goes into effect, those will come back down and meet that. 32,500 is fire and rescue. And that's a reserve engine, just like the reserve engine we currently have, which is a commercial cab, not a custom built truck, and an ambulance. And ambulances are 400,000 now from 150 when I got here. They also would like 200,000 to start A&E for Station 1. Public Works has asked for 150 for a parking lot next to this building. We also have a public safety building in for this year at 250 for A&E, and then the 30 million shows up in 28 CIP, but it'll take us a while to get things designed. The only big building we hope to be able to pull off in the 27 would be the Dawn Community Center due to the 5-year time frame we have on that. How we propose to pay for that, loan proceeds, and I've gotten the debt service amounts for this built into the budget from Davenport, but $3 million is loan proceeds on the building, lease financing on those vehicles, and then there's that $1,015,737 that I showed you was a transfer from the general fund earlier as an increase. That's where that is to make up all of those projects in the CIP. So the county CIP is $6,202,423. School CIP, They obviously requested way more than this. I think their request was 140 million. We couldn't remotely even borrow that. They've asked for elevator modernizations in both the high school and the middle school, and those are probably long overdue. ADA access to the sports fields. You know, they were having complaints that some of their fields that they need to provide ADA access to. They would like an activity bus, which is smaller than a regular bus, is 100,000. There's that bus replacement number of 177,895. They've asked for AI dash cameras in their student transport. You know, they transport students to private day placement schools. I'm sure in Richmond, and maybe Alan probably knows where else, and those would be very helpful. They would like another student maintenance transport vehicle, 60,000. That's normally a normal ask. They would like a transportation support vehicle. I think that's a dump truck. 82,000 is why it's more. The next one's mandated, and most of this cost is in 28 instead of 27 for indoor air quality testing and repair, and that is mandated by the General Assembly now, or specific. And then an intercom, that's system-wide intercom updates to their buildings, 100,000, and then card access badge entry reader system, they call it. Card access system, 150,000. Then there's loan proceeds of 1,157,000, and then transfer from the general fund 1,312,895. So that's what those transfers that I talked about earlier being from. And that's all I have on that. And if you want to go through all of the various capital projects, I didn't put in utilities, I'm sorry, but I've got that that loan proceeds for that in the utility fund. No, I didn't fund that. And I made a little table here that hopefully you can see. It looks blurry to me, but anyway, there's where if I change this penny, it changes things on here in these boxes. So if you go to 52, which we're currently at, you can see that, you know, our revenue increase, as I told you before, most of our revenue increase was eaten up by the exemptions. So it's only about 114 in revenue. We do have personal property increases and things, but we don't really have a lot of real estate, even with all the building. So obviously that pay increase of 1,950,420 is a big negative.
What's our total exemption number for the county?
I don't know that. I just get these numbers from, back away from Mike to look at you, these numbers from Mr. Bassoon. He's just the one that told me that, or David, that most of all of the increases were exempted away by other things, not the new people, but.
Can you get me the exemption number and the difference from last year to this year?
If it's public information, I sure we'll ask him.
What do you mean if it's public?
Whatever he'll give me, I will gladly try to get.
I think he can give us all the non-tax numbers.
Right.
So you may have to fish through it a little bit, but all the non-tax,
Yeah, I don't know.
everything that is non-taxable, and that's the outdoor foundation land, and
Yeah, it's a bunch of it.
there's a whole raft
yeah,
of
that's what I
things
wanted.
that come with it.
Because I think you have to look at the amount of land that we collect no tax, or people are tax exempt or very little tax within the county. If a third of the county is AP Hill, then the other 2/3 is property that we're taxing, but a percent of that tax is being eliminated. Then we're driving ourselves in a hole. So we have to look at it honestly.
The state unfunded mandates are driving us in a hole.
Correct.
Right.
And and to your point, I think that all the untaxed properties, he can show you what those are. And I don't remember if he can put a value on those or not,
What they can share, I'm sure they'll
Yeah.
share.
but it's a number worth asking for.
Right, it is, because it gives you a true picture as we look at the other counties that we're comparing ourselves to, which we're basically the smallest on the 95 corridor. So when you look at that, it does play a major part when like I said, 1/3 of your county, you get what, $60,000 from tree service from
That's not
from
every year.
forestry, right?
That's not every,
no.
not, yeah, we get very little for payment in lieu of taxes. Occasionally they'll sell timber and we'll get something, but
Right, well,
it's like $179 or something.
60, yeah, a while back was 69, but so I'm saying, that has a lot to do with the county in terms of how we,
Well, there's a few counties in the state that are at a huge disadvantage. And we're at the top of that list because AP Hill is a training facility and we
Right.
don't really have a lot of folks that leave the base.
Right, they don't spend any money.
So when
there.
you look at NSWC Dahlgren, right, it's different than Stafford. It's
absolutely.
different than
Quantico,
Prince George's
Prince
County
William.
where they have the base that people leave. If you move us in terms of revenue coming off the base, we're the lowest on that. So I say we're top on the list for there's no revenue realized from the actual federal installation here.
Right, so we are that unicorn there that
Right.
really presents some financial burden for the county.
Proposed
Correct.
and the planning modular, we would go into the fund balance, $6.5 million.
Yes.
Okay.
That's how many shares? I mean, 6.5 million represents,
I don't know, let me put a
13.
number in there.
It's 560 or something.
At 57,
It's
you're
less than
still
30.
2 million in. You're 220 to the good at 60, so 59 cents would fund, other than that plan in modular, you'd be short. And also, if you look, can you see my mouse? Because I
Yeah.
can see it.
Yeah.
Also see this blue line. As you overall increase your tax rate, you end up with a 26 windfall.
Mm.
So I've built that back into the budget.
That's the money we get in June
Correct.
because our
Right.
collection
It's
is ahead
not
of time.
needed in this.
Okay, I don't like the word windfall, but
I'll come up with something, but
it's an early revenue source because the
Right.
tax year.
taxed in June 5th, and it's not in, and so it's being collected in the 26 budget, but I need it in the 27th. So what I'm showing you is that amount that's gonna, right here, gonna come over into,
and the reason we do that is because the tax rate is yearly.
right, calendar year
So
budgets.
calendar year,
Yeah,
but the budget is fiscal
June-
year from
July
June to
1
July.
to June to 30. And so, yes,
So-
whenever you raise your tax rate, you always end up with a 50% of coming in the,
Right, an additional collection, right?
yeah, previous fiscal year.
So fiscal year 26 additional collection maybe.
So if I take that out of the mix, then even this 59 won't cover. So I just want you to know that's figuring in too. Here's your total where I just highlighted this box here. That's what's changing with your tax increase. See that come down, and this is the total. This comes down, and then it's split by percentage back into how we've normally collected it. These two percentages.
Can you do me a favor?
Mhm. Ms.
See
Excel?
where it says increase by over 52? Oh, look at that giant fly. Increase over 52? Can you just have that say whatever Y is minus 52 so we can instantly see the increase? The next column over, to the right, to the right, to the right. Under 100
Uh-huh.
equals
What do you-
whatever that Y number is, minus 52. The Y number is up ahead, no, up higher.
Oh,
That
this?
one, yes, minus
Oh,
52.
oh, you just want to know the increase
I just
percent.
want to be able to see 4 cents.
Oh,
That's
okay,
it.
sorry. I wasn't hearing,
That's,
I
that's
wasn't,
perfect. That's perfect.
I was being dense. I didn't know what you were looking for.
Yeah,
Yeah,
then we can
and
just.
how many pennies are?
So I'm looking at 8.5% increase.
And remember, you're not setting this tonight. All I'm trying to
Yeah.
work on is what can we go advertise, because Pam's got to get that to the paper by noon tomorrow.
Right.
We'll have time to have a public hearing on the whole budget. We'll, eventually the state will do something and we'll have a school number. But there'll be time to
And the school number
flush
could
out
be
what we
higher
want to
though.
do. It
right?
could very well be higher. Yes, I assume, and that would be where I,
That's what I'm saying. So
I would recommend you go up more than you think you need, advertise more than you think you need. You can go down. We can't go up if the state comes back and we got to put in another 500,000. Yeah, so,
Mr. Colley,
yes, sir.
I just got a quick question. As Mr. Thomas was mentioning the school number, if the if the school number goes up from the state, does that then incur us to go up as, I mean, is it tied together that if the school number, like whatever the state gives us goes
Yes.
up, and then, so like you have a number you think the state's going to give us, and you think that they're going to do 2 million, and then the state gives us 3, I mean, I'm just making those numbers up.
Sure.
But then we would in turn, you would have to go up with your 1 million number, correct?
Correct. Yeah, there's the term they use, a required local effort.
Yes.
And they put out, once they adopt a budget, the Department of Education puts out a spreadsheet for every county, every school system. And then that will give us how much the state's putting in and what we're required to put in. So we were about 150 budget over that last year. So our budget number was about 150,000 over cushion.
Right.
We're a little bit better because I think I understand their ADM didn't meet what they budgeted, which means the state didn't put in the money per student for students that weren't in the seats for ADM, which means that we've got a higher buffer because we put in our money in the budget.
Right.
But it's, you just don't know until the General Assembly finally adopts something and they send you that spreadsheet as to where you are. Given that we're close, I would recommend that you advertise a penny or so above what you think you need. I mean, it's just an advertisement.
Now, I know you're trying to play crystal ball here, but do you have any idea like when they're supposed to get those numbers? I mean,
They're not even going to meet again until I heard the 23rd of April.
yeah.
We'll almost have to adopt something with some sort of number. We definitely have had to adopt a tax rate by then.
Yeah, and this is
If you're
becoming.
going to get the tax bills out for June 5th, out by May 5th for June 5th payment.
And then I just have one real quick question. One of the things that we've been talking about at GWRC is, Mr. Boyles had asked for each locality to put in, I know Ms. Long voted for, as well as I, $10,000 for like a lobbyist for all 5 counties.
I have that in.
You have that in?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'm very much in favor of that program. Any other questions? The sheriff's here. Would you like to say anything about I kind of went over the public safety increase, but I really couldn't give a lot of the numbers. One thing I will add, that Ben Height's here. I did include Ben and the 3 lawyers as public safety employees because they really do function in that public safety realm. It does help them with where they are and on the pay band.
Well, do you have any questions? I certainly am familiar with the proposal. You know, we asked for quite a bit more than that, and we pretty much agreed on what Mr. Cully has presented to the board here tonight. I can tell you right now that we're very blessed, more so than most agencies, where we don't see a lot of turnover. But I've had a position available since January 1st, and I haven't been able to fill it. And the last hiring process that I had, I was down to one choice, which is not a choice when you're down to one person. So it's very difficult to get quality applicants at the numbers that you see on the board today. We're not complaining because, you know, I have a hard time saying anything bad about anything because we do this because it's a passion, not because of the paycheck. But people nowadays look for that paycheck. Even police officers, you know, they're looking at the paycheck because it's readily available in every other jurisdiction. So that wasn't the case in our day. We did it because we love what we do. And we're experiencing some of that searching from the younger people. They're looking for that pay increase, and we're just trying to be competitive. You know, if we do what Mr. Cully proposed, we're going to be probably 12 out of 16, which is not ideal, but it's certainly a positive direction that we're moving in. And I stated before, I got a PowerPoint presentation for you guys to talk about call volume. We did a study from 2010 to present, and the call volume has gone up 3 times the amount that it was in 2010 over the period of time, over the 10 years. Well, 15 years. So,
Sheriff,
yes, sir.
can you, how many, road deputies from 2010 till now?
You mean additional or?
No, how many did you have then versus now? Yeah, so your call volume has tripled.
Exactly. And I think our increase has been 8%. Is that correct? Yeah, 8% in personnel on the road, deputy sheriffs, and our call volume has been 3 times as now. So it used to be 400 calls per deputy from all 59 deputies all the way down. Now it's 1,200 calls per deputy per year.
Right, so, and I think that's the number that you have to look at in terms of, for me, when you're adding personnel, you've got to justify it with the number.
Right.
And so you're looking at triple the volume. Each deputy now has gone from 400 plus to 1,200 calls individually.
Right.
Which means from the very beginning, we probably want, I don't know what the ideal number of calls per deputy that you have in, you know, in your wheelbox, but I know it's not 1,200.
Yeah. And it all relates back to the quality of service.
Right.
You know, if you don't have enough people, your quality of service is not as great as you'd like to see it.
Right. And so Sheriff, also, I would like for you to look at what would be the ideal number as we go through and we have businesses coming to the county. I think it would behoove your department to say, this is where we need to be as we grow to get to that number, because in actuality, you need a few more folks to get that call volume down to where the efficiency of service is there. So I would think I'd like to see a look forward also.
Okay.
Not just now, but if you had to put a number to your calls per deputy, what would that be, and what would that department then look like? And then what would that number be in terms of need of cost?
Well, I'll certainly take a look at that. And I would say that this department has absolutely capitalized on every piece of technology available, because we try to work smarter than harder, which we've been able to do that, which we stay on top of things as of today, but you're getting to the point where your guys are getting to they're overworked is what they are. And I need to come up with that number, but technology, we're using advanced technology within the sheriff's office. We're even using AI as well as the flight cameras and other different things to help us investigate and become more efficient at what we're doing. But we're running out of ways to compensate for the
And
low
that
numbers of personnel.
Public service building has to be
Yes,
part
sir.
of the
That's
plan.
correct. Yes, sir.
And it can't be a pie in the skies.
Yes,
Has
sir.
to be part of the plan to move this department forward.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir. I'll get those
I
numbers.
encourage you to do that.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Cully,
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Seeley?
Go ahead, Mr. Black.
Just had a real quick question. You had said before, Mr. Cully had like, basically, it was, you had original number for Mr. Cully, and then it's now at like 5,000 per deputy. It's been cut down. What was your original recommendation to Mr. Cully for when you came and said, hey, we need this for the deputies? And then the other thing too is, as Mr. Underwood had mentioned, you know, was there any mention to, when you brought your budget to Mr. Cully a few months ago, was there any mention of adding new deputies too? I mean, or what was the number of new deputies plus the, you know, the number for the salary? I mean, that would be something that I don't think we have
Right.
heard.
Well, first of all, we did discuss a $10,000 increase, which would have brought us to fourth in the region as far as the pay. It was a little unrealistic when you look at the numbers. It was just too much money. So whatever you have in front of you, it probably would have doubled it. So it was a little unrealistic. You know, you can't bite off more than you can chew. And I truly believe that. And Mr. Cully was gracious enough to explain to me, you know, that this probably is not going to work. So we wanted to put our best foot forward. And, you know, if we have to go in baby steps or smaller steps, we're more than willing to do that to get where we need to be. We did ask for 3 additional deputies this year. That is the number.
And that's what he did show us,
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've already showed that.
Sheriff. He showed us all the deputies that were, all the employees that were requested. So we did see.
Yes, sir.
So 3
So
it
we
was
wanted
your
to-
number. So
was
that
the only
was
thing. I
up.
didn't know if that was a number that had been cut down by Mr. Cully down to 3, or if that was your original request was 3, or.
No, that original request is 3.
The original request was 3.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Cully, just out of curiosity, I mean, the only thing I don't understand is how many deputies do we have total? I guess you'd have to talk
59.
you'd have to talk about fire and rescue too.
It was 59 deputies from me down.
Right. So what I'm saying
counting
is,
something
my only question is, if you did 5,000, another additional 5,000 times the number of emergency personnel we have.
Yeah, you can't really do it that way,
It's a
Mr. Black.
percentage.
It's a percentage. We have to,
Okay.
we have it on a pay plan. We have to protect the integrity of the pay plan. So it really
Okay.
doesn't flush out that way. You have to do it by the pay plan.
Yeah, it's 11.41% with the step.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
And do you remember?
I'm
do
going
you
to let
remember-
Mr. Thomas go next and I'll come back to you, Mr.
Yeah, just real quickly, my last question. Do you remember what
Sure.
the math was on that, Mr. Cully?
I didn't understand. What did he say?
Do you remember the math on that?
Like to get up to the 10%, 11% that Major Mosier or Sheriff Mosier just mentioned. I'll never get the Major Mosier out, but yes.
Well, the increase is 9.41% on the 5,000 on the starting pay.
Right.
And then a step is 2%.
Okay.
So it averages across the employees at 11.41% of where they are today moving up.
Yes, sir. That is correct.
Is there a way you can get us those numbers, Mr. Cully?
The individual number?
I guess we're confused on which numbers you want there, Mr.
You
Black.
talk about like if you fully funded what Mosier, Mr. Sheriff.
Oh,
Mosier
you mean the $10,000?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I can do that, but I can't. I don't want to do it while I'm sitting here.
No. I understand.
That's just
Well, it's 10,000 times the number of employees.
Well, it's double what we've got.
Yeah, it would be
It takes it from 20.8236. So 18.8236.
And we came up with that number basically looking at the surrounding jurisdictions and kind of coming in there somewhere we thought we could be. Actually, we're fourth in the region for call volume. It's unbelievable, but that's true. Yeah.
Now, I wanted to ask my question. I don't know, Sheriff, if you can answer it, Mr. Cully. But somebody mentioned unfunded mandates from Richmond before. How many of your positions are paid for by the comp board?
As far as deputy sheriffs, I believe it's 26.
But that's not paid for. He is fully funded for his comp board salary. We supplemented the sheriff.
Oh, not him himself. but-
Every other deputy that's
Right.
comp board funded is funded at the state comp board salary 50%.
Right.
And that ain't anywhere near our salary on our pay
Right.
plan. So
Right.
if we're getting 25% of
Right.
somebody's salary, we're doing something.
Right.
So it's not, the
Right.
state's not
And-
putting in their fair share on it.
I'm not saying anything about the sheriff, anything about the county administrator. The point is, half of your deputies are on the comp plan, paid for,
Well, less than
20
half, because we get 26
Yeah,
and
20.
he's
it's-
got
Yeah, it's less
59.
than half, yeah.
yeah, less than half, paid for at an insignificant amount by the state. That's the bottom line. So we need, again, more help from the state. But
Right.
it's easy to be in the state and say, I'm not going to raise taxes. I'll make the counties do that.
No, exactly.
And that's
You know,
where we are. So.
We're very fortunate.
Sheriff?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been in the sheriff's office?
38 years.
Yeah,
Okay, so when you came to the sheriff's office, what year?
1988.
88.
How many deputies, road deputies, were there in 1988?
About 2 per shift. You got to understand that we had a lot of deputies back then because we operated a jail in 1988.
Oh, that's right. Okay, let's move post-jail.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, in 2000, how many road deputies were there? Can you? I know it's-
26, maybe? 26. He was number
So
26.
26, and that was all the deputies in the sheriff's office, correct?
Yes.
So that was in 2000.
At one time, the sheriff's office was totally funded by the state.
Correct.
You remember that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because I remember when in like 92, you had to raise taxes to fund the sheriff's office because they were beyond what the state comp board was funding them, and they stopped raising the salary from the comp board.
Yeah, they used to fund our office supplies and everything.
Yeah,
and
they
stopped
call
all
that.
Yeah.
It was like 91 or 92.
Yeah. But I started at 12.5.
So I'm just trying to look at the number. So I know it's probably difficult to remember how many road deputies there were in 2010. That's probably not anything you can.
We could dig
I'm
it
just-
up, but, yeah.
93.
I want to say in 2010, we probably had 52.
We haven't funded many. We did the 3 overfills and maybe a sergeant
There
somewhere.
was 2
Yeah.
overfill positions.
Animal control, something maybe.
And
I don't know.
animal control was another one
Yeah,
that we
yeah.
didn't have. So we've got up to 59 as of today. It was about
But we were just looking.
It
for the-
was 49 because you had one position that I think Tony kept trying to fill that position. Six, yeah, but he had 49 trying to get to 55.
maybe that's what it was. I could get those numbers. If,
We're just trying to look for the logical progression, because when you look at the size of the sheriff's office, versus the size of the county growth, and then couple that with your call volume, I think the number of deputies and the call volume, because that's probably easy to get off the CAD system, is who you haven't, and just build a chart out of that, because I think we're going to start to see big jumps in numbers for calls to the sheriff's office.
Without
we have-
increasing the sheriff's office, see.
yeah,
That's the
we
problem.
actually saw a 47% increase from 2024 to 2025.
Correct. Just
Right,
gone
so
nuts.
just-
Is that actual individual calls?
Yes,
Or is
correct.
that,
That doesn't count 2 deputies going to 1 call. Those are individual calls.
but I mean, if you come to somebody's house and you show up for domestic battery
Right.
and then they resist arrest, is that 2 calls or 1?
No, that's 1.
Just 1,
Yeah,
okay.
1 incident.
One incident.
You're right.
And do we have those plotted by district? Can we?
I'm sure we can probably get that
Do you
information.
really want to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
We do.
don't know
Yeah,
that we
because-
can. I'll check. But it's now also, let me just
I
be
mean,
totally
it's not
transparent.
something for public
If I
consumption.
go by and check on your house
Mhm.
because you're on vacation, that's a call.
Yeah.
Okay. If I check Mr. Cully's house, that's a call. Anything, or Mr. Underwood, I've been there myself. He needs to work on his security there. I got but we definitely count that as a call. Well, so it's a lot. We do a lot more than we've done in the past. You know, with those different
And to
activities.
piggyback that, is it the same thing for fire and rescue?
correct. Yeah,
Right.
they were seeing, year over year increases in call volume. I mean, just more people moved in. You can see the
Right,
radio
right.
traffic is just constant.
Yeah.
Right, so we have to look at that. I mean, there are some priorities that we have to set. And I think when you look at what's taking place in the county, we're gonna have to set some real priorities to make sure that we don't falling off a cliff. And
Yes, sir.
this is a true indicator that we've been on the edge, and now we're just barely hanging on. And we have a number of housing projects that we have
Are coming to fruition, not
are
approved,
coming
that
to
have
fruition,
been,
right,
that have been
that have been
approved.
approved,
Yes, sir.
that are now coming to fruition, as Mr. Sealy says. So now all of a sudden, that volume with people only increases even more. So the need is greater. So we have to take some realistic look at where we are and make some tough decisions.
Yeah, and honestly, I can just tell you flat out, my priority is my people. They're the most valuable asset that we have in this county is the employees, and those they get the job done. I'm very proud of the men and women, and those are my most valuable asset. I have to take care of what I have today because I can't afford to lose them tomorrow because I can't fill their positions. It doesn't appear that way.
Right.
You might be able to when y'all make some adjustments, but I don't know the budget like y'all do. Y'all have to make those tough decisions, and I respect y'all's decision however it turns out. So, but thank y'all for listening. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Sheriff.
All right, sir.
Mr. Colley, what do we?
I asked all the department heads that had requests for employees to be present in case you wanted to question them about the validity and need. I don't think anybody asked for employee just,
Yeah,
yeah, sure.
Yeah, Mr.
I don't think anybody,
Just,
Yeah,
I
thanks,
mean,
Derek.
I know you get the law library that always saddles everybody and,
Well, I dovetail much of what Scott has said. We've seen increases as the sheriff's office increases, obviously cases increase to the Commonwealth Attorney's Office. We have in place right now a staff that I think is as good as it's been in ages. Probably 30 years, 20 years, a newer person than myself. I am in danger of losing them. I know my chief deputy was offered a position, significantly more money. He declined that. He'd like to stay. We are doing more work with more technology. We work hand in hand with law enforcement, including, fire and rescue, because they're coming to calls. They have different reports we all have to review. And so there is no step necessarily or reclassification for a deputy Commonwealth attorney or a Commonwealth attorney. They have advanced degrees. There is nowhere to go. One way to handle that is to put them into public safety, which is who we work with, what we do, and what we're primarily charged with. So any increase would be moving the Commonwealth Attorney's Office, at least the attorneys of it. I'd love for everyone to be on it. I don't know if that was in the budget, but that accomplishes keeping the attorneys we have, giving us the ability to hire one in the future if we need one. Currently, we're down one attorney because of the body cameras. Discussed that with the board before, and you guys have been generous with how you've responded to that. But speaking of unfunded mandates, there's a mandate out there that once you get body cameras, the county has to supply a assistant Commonwealth attorney at $78,000 or whatever the comp board.
well, that's just the comp board salary, not what you're gonna be able to hire somebody for,
Yeah,
which is
okay.
a different discussion.
Exactly, but that's paid for by the county. That's not a comp board.
Not even
number.
comp board
That's
funded.
money that comes out of the county budget. We've been able to essentially work harder, work smarter, work better without that. And I think they're doing a heck of a job. And so that's why I've asked to be put on the public safety portion of the plan. And I think certainly Scott or any of the other folks who work closely with us would probably agree with that or would agree with that.
And that's in the budget now. The four attorneys, his three attorneys and the Commonwealth attorney are on the public safety plan with the 11.41% increase on their salaries.
And just so that you all are aware, the last 3 ads that we've had out at above the comp board salary, we've got 1 attorney who applied. So that's the reality. I know Hanover and Spotsylvania are fighting with the same issue, as is Stafford. So that's the reality of where we're at with salaries these days.
So, can I, Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Underwood?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, the same thing that I asked, the sheriff. When you look at your volume of service that you're providing, the ratio has increased, you're saying,
Yes.
by
Well,
exponentially by what percentages? So that gives me an idea of, you know, what's taking place. That's what I need. I like to see the numbers so I can show it to the public. So if I do say that we do need a tax increase, then I can justify it by showing not just people hearing me yap, but they actually see the number on the screen that indicates your court case volume has increased 30%. You have X number of assistants and people within your office as well as attorneys, and this is what you're required to do. Then that gives me ammunition to fight.
Yep. And there was a pay study throughout the Commonwealth, I think it was in 24, where they take all the felony cases, not including misdemeanor cases. Commonwealth attorneys are not required to prosecute misdemeanor cases in Virginia. We are required to prosecute felonies. And just based on the felony numbers, we were down an attorney over what it would require to do that. And I think with the misdemeanor cases, a fully staffed office, I think, had another additional 1.5 or 2 attorneys in it. And I have that, and I can get that to you.
Yeah, I'd like to see that number.
Tomorrow or the next
because
day.
I think it's important that we have that to show the public.
Yep.
So that they see that.
Yep, absolutely.
You're working with less.
We're working with less, but we're also working with more experience right now, so that we're being more efficient and more knowledgeable. I mean, candidly, in the office, we have 30, 50, over 50, 60 years of experience, 55 years.
See, the reality is, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman.
That's all right.
Yep. The reality is for me that if you grow your staff, then you have less money to give staff.
Correct.
Because, so you have to make some tough choices.
Yes.
And until we have revenue that balances out, which we see in 3-4 years, the revenue should be flowing a little better and you won't have the issue. So the question that if I was sitting on that side of the dais, I would say, I'm going to do more with less, but I need this amount of money to compensate my folks.
Yes. I think
Or I would say I need more folks, but then I can't do both. And
No.
I think that's where we are now. We're not going to be able to do both. And
Nope.
you guys are gonna have to make a decision of, do I wanna keep my folks and say, hey, I'm gonna pay you good, but we're gonna have to work a little harder until we get to 29,
29, 30.
when all of our revenue starts to kind of flow. So,
And I agree with you completely, and that's why the being moved to the public safety plan, I think, is an 11%, 10.5% increase
11.5.
to the staff, I guess the attorneys. I'd love, like I said earlier, I'd love for it to be the entire office. But that is the choice we've made, and what we're asking for is compensate who is there, who is doing a good job. We'll make do with more. I mean, well, less people, more experience, until the county or until it becomes obvious that we need more attorneys. Right now, we are handling the workload that is coming in. It is a lot. We're doing a good job. I'm proud of everyone in the office, and I want to keep them. I think the county wants to keep them, and this is, I think, the way to do it.
okay. Thank
Mr. Thomas?
Mr. Hyde, we had talked before about a drug court.
Yes,
Is that,
That's funded.
is that
It-
in your budget?
it is.
It's in here.
It's a recovery court. It'd be going through Hanover County. They will take up to 5 individuals, nonviolent felons. I think I dropped off a packet or had someone drop off
Right.
a packet for y'all last week, or I think it was last week.
And I corrected myself. It's a recovery court.
Yes,
And not a
it-
drug court.
It
So
was a
recovery
drug court 20 years ago. It's now a recovery
It used to
court.
be drug court.
I like that. Okay.
But it is a
But it is funded.
it is funded. It is
Okay.
fantastic.
Okay.
Hanover has all the infrastructure in place. They have a judge. We'll be getting a new judge tomorrow. He's willing to do it until such time as a new judge is come in and do it, but it's an exceptional program, and I think it's very much needed in the county.
I want to back up. Are you done? Is that Mr. Just to be clear, so body cameras then necessitate your office having somebody to, if I understood what you said correctly, to review
We,
any footage
yes.
that's requested.
Yes, so the way it works now is the sheriff's office will code it under the deputy and the time. We will get a case to us. We'll send an email to the sheriff's office. They will then send us a link. We'll download the program. And then when defense attorneys ask for it, we can send it to them, but we're required to watch it as well. So if you have a call where 10 deputies respond, we're going to have 10 body cams. And that's all something we have to review, go through, provide, and so forth. So it's a massive undertaking. But you get to, it gets easier as you get more experience.
But it's also another unfunded mandate, I guess is where I'm going, is we didn't get any sort of state revenue to take care of any individual that does that, even though there's new legislation that says that's what's required. I'm just.
Absolutely.
Everybody's always, unfunded mandates, unfunded, what are you talking about? And this is, this evening, we've talked about 3 or 4 unfunded mandates or we get money, but it's nowhere near for the sheriff's office for comp board salaried employees. We get a fraction, probably less than half of the salary that the state says, and they tell us that we only need 26. If you had 26 deputies, you wouldn't be getting anything done. I mean, his office would be paralyzed.
No, and they
Right. So I'm just trying to sort of, put in sequence unfunded mandates, define them, and then make sure that I understand where those are, because those are just the tip of the iceberg for what we're actually talking about in this budget in terms of unfunded and what we're being faced with.
Yep. And as we talked about earlier, currently there is an unfunded position for the Commonwealth Attorney's Office that we're not requesting, but that would be an unfunded mandate to the county. So that is outstanding, has not been filled. We haven't asked for it, but it is out there.
Okay. Go ahead, Ms. Long.
And I want to point out that what he said was their group that they have now, click, they work together really well. And that is so important in an office situation that you can rely on one another. And I appreciate all the work you do. I've been there recently, and thank you for your help and continued help. But can you also tell me, I keep hearing that one of the reasons things move so slow through the courts is because of the shortage of judges.
Yeah.
Is there any information you could share on that?
In our district, there was a disagreement between the legislature on both sides as to who to appoint. So when Judge Denicky retired in the circuit court, Judge Hewitt and Judge Kelly both became ill and retired as well. So we had 3 circuit court judges down. Tomorrow, they have filled 2 of those spots, which is Judge Reynolds has moved up from Caroline General District and is now going to the circuit court. And Charlie Clark out of King George CA's office is now going to be a circuit court judge. Judge Ryback has returned to circuit court in Caroline. He is retiring July 1st, and our Caroline circuit court slot will be open again July 1st. And in General District, they are moving folks around, and I believe we are getting Vince Donahue starting tomorrow. So Caroline will have, at least through July 1, full-time judges again, but we have not had that for quite a while.
Thank you. I just thought it would be important for people to understand. Thank you.
As Scott just reminded me, also the change in law 3, I think it was 3 years ago, might have been 21. Jury, you can request a jury with no jury sentencing. So there's no downside to requesting a jury these days.
We have tons of them.
So right now, for instance, in April, I know we have 8 juries. Now, 8 juries aren't going to go forward, but we just had 2 last week. We had a 2-day trial Monday and Tuesday, then we had another jury on Thursday. So we are seeing an increase in jury requests, planning, preparation, and there's no reason not to take one as a defense attorney. So it's
sit to the very last throw out, and they finally threw him out.
Anything further, or?
So never a dull moment in the court system.
It's been an interesting couple years. A lot of changes. There were a lot of changes in the legislature over the last few years that have made better changes and worse changes, but it's certainly, I would say, if not more work than the juries are more work. You can't walk into a jury not prepared. You can't walk into certain cases not prepared. So it certainly made everyone up their game a little bit.
But it also requires more of the deputy's time also when you have a jury trial, doesn't it?
Absolutely. We had sergeant and 3 deputies in court Monday and Tuesday for last week for a jury trial, because we had to call them. We called them, defense called them, then we recalled them, or at least one of them after that. But you can't release them. So if we have a jury going on or a case going on, they've got to sit with us until they can be released from the case.
So, Sheriff, when you have deputies sitting in a jury trial, you don't have deputies on the road at that point in time. Is that the case?
It could be. Most likely, there are probably going to be very few deputies on the road in there, and more likely investigators, in the courtroom, because the majority of the cases that involve that magnitude of a case is work by the investigators.
But you're still minus them.
That is correct. Yes, sir.
If they're in court, they're not doing their
That's
daily
right.
job.
Yeah, it's not. It's much more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I mean, you have to be in court if your deputy writes a speeding ticket.
that's right.
So
exactly
you can't
right.
have an investigator there. That's got to be the deputy.
That's correct.
Okay.
But most of the juries are involved investigators, I would say.
But it does impact your office as manpower goes. If they're
absolutely.
sitting at a jury, they're not taking on a new case, so your office starts to stack up.
And it increases the number of court days that we have. Now I have to have my bailiffs work Monday through Friday instead of Monday, Tuesday, maybe Friday,
And the sergeants, the one we funded last year, made that full-time so
That
that
is
they could
correct.
keep up with that, because we had a part-time sergeant and they really couldn't keep up.
And
So we
last
did
year
fund that.
Yeah, and that's worked out fantastic. He's been doing a great job. So
This is the first time we sort of get to put our arms around both the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office, the Sheriff's Office, and Fire and Rescue, sort of in the budgetary sense, because we usually look at numbers, and I think it's, as several board members have said, we need to step into public safety and look at, as you
Yes.
saw, the public safety building. We're looking at design. We're going to have to move forward. You can't put any more folks in the actual space you've got. So we're going to have to do something in the very near future to alleviate that. So
absolutely.
we are all collectively looking at it. I think this was just a good opportunity to hear from all the public safety, Commonwealth's Attorney, Sheriff's Office, and I'm sorry that Chief Loftus isn't here, but we've all spoken to him over the months about positions and staff and calls and those kinds of things. So I think this has just been a great discussion with the folks that day to day do this, so we get a better sense. And I do appreciate, Mr. Height, the update on the judges, because I've been asked, what's the story, what's going on, because they all hear there's no judge, and I'm like, it's hard to keep track of what's really going on in the court system, because if you're not involved in it, you don't know week to week what's going on.
And we don't know we don't know week to week a lot of times, because we've been running sub-judges through so long and they've been switching so much. But I think we're at a point now where we're going to have some standardization, or at least consistency, so that it's a good thing all around.
Okay. Any other questions, public safety wise? I just want to thank everybody for the time this evening.
Thank you. And we really have formed a good team between the Commonwealth Attorney's Office and the Sheriff's Office. And he is conscious of the fact that we need road deputies on the road as well as investigators. And they do everything they can to get our guys out of there. So we do appreciate that as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you all.
Any other county administrator proposed budget questions? I think we've looked, I don't know what else you want to
hear
cover.
from?
Oh, Mr. Hughes.
Good evening.
Hello.
So proposed in, I think Mr. Cully showed us all the numbers. I think you had 4 positions that were proposed.
Yes.
Is that what we saw?
I think it's more than that. It's a full-time administrative assistant. I didn't recommend funding that. Full-time environmental inspector, I recommended, the full-time code enforcement inspector, maybe that's the one. He wants to upgrade a part-time environmental inspector to, he wants to create a part-time environmental inspector at 30 hours. He wants in the inspections office, a combination plan reviewer and a combination building inspector. We go up, I'll show you the
Are
cost.
those all
of that.
brand new?
So-
Or are we just increasing hours?
No, those are all new.
Oh, no.
And that's the total cost for each one of those. The administrative assistant, 77,000, environmental inspector, 101, code enforcement at 88. The part-time at 48, because there's no health insurance. Sorry, the good old piling. Combination plan reviewer is 106, and the combination building inspector is 101. If you were to fund all those things, that's what
What's the combination?
that's just a regular inspector that, does.
I mean, for plan reviewer. You
So-
review plans and do what else?
You review commercial and residential plans.
Oh,
So combination, yes.
So you would normally, if the world were wonderful, you would have a commercial plan reviewer and a residential plan reviewer.
Yes.
And since the world is not wonderful, there's a combination for both of those.
Right. In larger jurisdictions, those specialties are segregated in individuals' positions.
Pull that
Yes.
mic up.
And so that's, the other thing I would note just about our department, in addition to those positions that we're talking about here, all of the information you guys heard tonight from public safety, our GIS department supports those individuals. It supports the entire county. And so with the recent upgrades that we have made in the GIS department, we are now better to provide data analysis. And so, I think a lot of people think that the GIS is a pretty map that you pull up on the web and can look at parcels. But the recent upgrades in software allows us to do a lot more data analysis. So the information that the sheriff was talking about tonight, plotting those calls for services, those run times, that is data that we can now provide to all of our departments. And we provide now to fire services, calls, response times, and that kind of stuff. So, there's been I just want to let you know that the money that you've invested in GIS was well spent and is being utilized.
And see, a public safety building would also, would give you space. Because we pulled all the public safety out of the planning and community development building, all that space would then be dedicated to
Sure.
planning and zoning, which we all know need space. There's no secrets there. It's just where do we go and who do we pull and where do we put everybody? That's been the discussion we've all had amongst ourselves over the last 2 years, is how do we do that? Because the footprint we have doesn't really facilitate, there's no place else to go.
That's exactly right. And our request for space is an immediate need. We need space now. We don't have the ability, like I said, to address our current situation. Us waiting another 2 years only increases the time it takes, to get stuff done. The inability to have and add staff, those staff positions relate to efficiency, and they relate to plans getting done faster, construction starting sooner, taxes being paid sooner. So, there's a direct correlation into how fast things get through our office and taxes being returned to the county. Because as soon as those buildings get built, the sooner they start paying taxes, the sooner those businesses start operating and generating sales taxes. So there's a direct correlation between the time that plans are submitted and the tax revenues that come along. And so, our need for space is immediate. It's put in the budget as an immediate need because, an example, I was contacted twice just recently about having an intern, and I could not,
bring on an intern because I don't have anywhere to put them. And I have great intern opportunities because we have a lot going on in the county and someone could really benefit from that. You know, we talk about space and the part-time environmental inspector position is kind of a stopgap. You know, if we don't get a full-time position funded. Last year, we lost the person serving in the environmental position because they were just overworked. You know, it is currently just too much going on for one individual to handle this county. This county is 540 plus square miles with lots of stuff going on. I get calls daily from supervisors. I get calls daily from county admin about complaints. You know, people trucking dirt off of construction sites to somewhere they shouldn't be trucking it. So that person has to spend his 3 hours following the dump truck to figure out where it's coming from, where it's going to. Then he's got to come back and, you know, write that person, the offender and the receiving person, a letter letting them know that this is an illegal activity and you got to come into compliance. And so now, you know, everything else falls behind. You know, the weather is a big determinant upon our inspection processes. We've got huge sites under construction. We've got the Amazon site. We've got the ACS site. We're soon to have another major employer with a site under construction. And all of that E&S work falls to a single person, in addition to any other commercial and the residential building that's going on. So, you know, from that perspective, that gives you a look at how much work is going on. From a code enforcement perspective, we get calls daily on, you know, issues, inoperable vehicles, junkyards based on our new definition of junkyards. And I've got one person to cover 544 square miles. You know, it takes her time to drive, time to go and investigate, time to come back, write a report, time to consult with the county attorney, you know. And while all of that is being done, there are other items that list is steadily growing. And so, you know, on the plan side, you know, we talk about the plan reviewers, no longer the days that construction plans come in their, you know, 5 pages. You know, we get construction plans now that are 500 pages. The Amazon building plans are more than 1,000 pages. I mean, there's 2 rows that I could not stand here and hold in each arm. That's just building plans. And so, you know, the inability to address the current workload, you know, it hurts the county. There's no other way to say it. It stunts our competitive advantage in the marketplace. It's just that simple.
Ms. Long?
Yes, and I want to add that I stopped by one morning. I happened to be in Bowling Green early because I had to run the grocery store because I forgot something, which is not unusual. But I stopped by, I grabbed some goodies, and I came by, and the receptionist was there, let me in. You could not stick your head in the door, look around a corner, or walk in a room without it being full of people. We're trying to have a meeting in one room. You get people answering the phone. You know, they're just bumping into one another, and that doesn't lead to a good working environment. It doesn't lead to convenient phone calls when you're talking to citizens. And so I saw firsthand they definitely need some more space over there.
So the other thing I want to point out is, you know, the other departments are talking about instituting technology. We've instituted technology as well. So last year we came to you all and asked for some funds to adopt it's called ACTA, is the company name, but what it does, it provides responses to citizens' inquiries. And so you build a database essentially of FAQs, and you provide those FAQs when those inquiries are made back to the citizens in an efficient manner. What it does is it allows consistent responses going out to citizens. So, you know, oftentimes one of the issues that we've had at our front counter is, you know, we've had some turnover there because of the structure that we created in the department, you know, to try to build depth is we move some people. And so we have inexperienced people at the front counters. And so what we've done to assist those people is to kind of standardize the responses so that when they come in, citizens get consistent answers. It's very helpful. It provides a matrix of the number of calls that we get. And so that's really the need for the extra person up front is between the hours of 12 and 2, our phone rings nonstop because that's the period that if you had an inspection today at say 9 o'clock and you failed that inspection, you can try to correct that failure. And then say starting at 12, you can call to try to schedule an inspection the next day. So we are trying to provide almost next day service for failed inspections. And that phone rings continually from 12 to about 2:30, nonstop. I sat at that front counter one day because people were out for lunch, and I was amazed at the number of calls. And on top of the calls, you have people walking in, asking questions. You have people walking in to drop off additional permits. So, it's a high-paced environment, and it takes, some people, some really sharp individuals up there to make that front counter area function properly. And so, that's the reason for the request it's not an admin, support position like someone assisting somebody to do some work. That is a working position, probably at a certain part of it, doing nothing but answering the phone, just so that other permit techs can get data entered.
But that's an important position because that's
It
where your
is.
PR starts.
It is. It's the face of our department, and that is one thing I preach all the time. That is the face of Caroline County in many instances. I mean, next to the web, planning is probably one of the first places that people come when they try to get information.
Any other questions? Mr. Underwood?
So that's 5 positions, Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Or is it 6?
1, 2,
I see
3.
the combination.
It's 6.
That's 6.
It's 6.
Right.
It could be 5. If we got a full-time environmental inspector, we wouldn't necessarily need.
Well, that's what I'm going to ask you.
Yeah.
Is there any scrubbing you can do to that, or do we need those 6 positions?
The scrubbing would be the
again,
part-time
it's the
position.
same thing I told the other departments. You've got to make a choice about funds, whether you want people or money. I mean, if we had both, it would be great. So is it going to make your more efficient by having an additional part-time person, or is it going to make it efficient by having a combo person to alleviate?
So they do 2 different things. So
I understand that, but I'm just
right.
See, that's a decision that you as the department leader have to make of either I'm going to get this or I'm going to get that. Because I don't think I can give you both.
Right. So I would say if I was going to lose something, it would be the part-time position.
The environmental inspector?
Yes.
But I thought you just said that was critical.
As a full-time employee, it's critical. The part-time, it's built into the budget. So to address the situation you just raised, I get either or.
So you have a full-time and a part-time
Yes.
up here now.
Right.
So you're willing to lose the part-time?
Right.
But that's what I'm trying to do now. I'm trying to get to what would, yes, but that's why I'm going through each one, trying to find out what we can do for each department to make them better and more efficient. But there's some give and take that they have to give us, and we have to
Our
narrow.
bigger problem is not just the people, but the space for the people.
Correct.
And that is the challenge. I think the bigger challenge, not that you don't need people, is it's incumbent upon us to figure out how we're going to facilitate that.
See, I thought, now I do have a plan there, as I talked to Mr. Hughes about, space, not to cut you off, Jeff,
That's all right.
but I don't understand why we couldn't use some money from the fund balance to purchase those trailers to give him some space the way we did. And that's six classrooms or enough for 6 offices. And that's what, 1.3 million?
1.3 is what's in the budget.
And we do have the ability in the general fund to do that without getting into the budget for reoccurring costs. So we can kill a couple we can kill a couple of these issues if we just are a little creative, I think.
Can I add real quick? Wouldn't it be harder to hire a part-time inspector than unless you know somebody than full-time?
It would be. That's why I said that's the position that could go. Yeah.
It's cheaper but harder to find.
Right.
I don't know that we're gonna solve this, but anybody, the space is my primary concern, even over people, because it's not just you, and it's not just the sheriff, and it's not just fire and rescue. I mean, we can keep going down that list, and I'll put you at the front of that list because we've expanded into that building with fire and rescue, around all the planning and zoning folks and the building folks.
Well, I mean, in an immediate, if you took us out of there, that frees up a lot of space for them. I mean, they could have all of the space that we vacate, and that would help their immediate situation. You know, and it makes sense for them to be there. I mean, their logistics building is there, all their, you know.
Right.
I think we could do that. I think we could put them in trailers. And install
Well,
the space
it's something to investigate. I think we need to all ponder that maybe. The space is our number one, aside from the cost of all the people, the space is our number one issue.
Yeah.
And we have outpaced. We have a real space problem because everything we have has something in it, and it's not like you can't rearrange anything at this point because there's no place to rearrange it to.
Right, but see, as far as the budget goes, though, see, that's why I talked to Mr. Hughes before about the space issue. I think we can cure out of the fund balance. So what we need to concentrate on is the budget, because that's reoccurring. And that's what we need to do.
It is
tonight, look
recurring,
at.
you're correct.
So that's the one that to me is the most difficult one, is to make sure that we get your budget straight, because that's reoccurring. And I believe that I think the space issue can be solved relatively sensibly and very quickly, as a matter of fact, to me. Huh? Yeah, they do. So I think we could do that real quickly, but that's why I say if we can get to where they're efficient personnel-wise,
You're on the screen.
the people in the office feel like they're working rather than being beaten down with work, then they're more efficient in the office. Then now your machine is starting to work and working the way it's intended, and the complaints cease, and people see you as being efficient, and you are more apt to get other people talking to other businesses about the great relationships that they have, and that what occurred, rather than I had to wait 3 months to get a permit looked at.
Yeah, and we've had this discussion with Mr. Hughes quite a bit. We need more people,
Right,
but his first thing is, well, where am I going to put them?
right. So I'm trying to help him right now.
And
Thank you.
it's again though, the thing is, do I spend $1 million on trailers, or do I spend $1 million renovating some other space that I can use longer? And I think that's kind of what Jeff was talking about, is let's investigate all possibilities. But as far as I'm concerned, you are first on the list of trying to figure out where to get some space, because you're right. You do impact the county revenue a lot. So we need to do something there. It's just make this decision real quickly of what we do and where we do it. And I think that's part of what our budget thing is now.
Right. And it's not going to get any better as we continue to have residential and commercial grow, and we know what's coming down the pipe. So we might as well strap it on, cause it's gonna be some long, rough rides. So if we don't do something, start with the plan immediately, then we're gonna be in trouble.
Well, and I would just say you talk about a long ride. I mean, I have an employee right now that is consistently sending emails at 11 and 12 o'clock at night,
Right.
trying to stay above water.
So we need to, yeah, so
We need to fix that.
we need to fix it. Yeah, we do.
Gentlemen,
And-
have we thought about taking the approach to, I personally cannot think of something we can get our hands on now and renovate that's in a good position for the planning commission, but to, department to use. But we do have that nice field right beside their house, the current
Building,
position,
right.
building.
But if you're gonna
that we
build
can
a public
put-
safety building, you can't put something there if that's where the, and that's the
But those
discussion we have
trailers-
to have. No, because you can't kick them out of those when you start building. So there is some discussion as to, this is the slide puzzle problem. How are you gonna, yeah, we've gotta move all these pieces sort of in a logical way so they line up.
But planning doesn't need to be in with,
No, but that space, that land is bigger than we all realize just because of where the wood line
The
is.
land is a perfect spot for a public safety building.
I'm not saying that, I'm saying we can't renovate one and get it up in a year. We could put a trailer there in
But
a
if you
year and get them in there until you build the
But that's where
design
you're
and
gonna
what you
build-
want.
That's where you're gonna build the building.
And once we get the plan and we've got the funding and we're gonna start building it, we sell the darn trailer or we move it somewhere temporarily and break ground. That's all I'm saying.
Mr.
Mr.
Chair.
Seeley? Mr. Seeley?
Oh,
Yes, Mr. Black.
I thought we had mentioned before, and I think it came from Mr. Forehand about the idea for the inspections, because so many inspections are happening in the Pendleton, Ladysmith areas where most of our houses are going. I thought we had talked about putting like at least a couple employees who are doing the inspections over in the Ladysmith area, Pendleton area. So that way they would be kind of right there, right near the inspection area. And that would be like a temporary thing until we can find, for a couple of employees, until we can find a, more space for them.
Yeah, again, it's the slide puzzle situation. We need to figure out what we're gonna do. And then, and I'm not saying it takes months. I think by the end of the budget session this year, the whole budget season, we should be able to have some sort of an idea of how we're gonna do things. There probably are some places to do that, but we have to figure out what the plan is gonna be, what we're gonna build when, what's gonna get housed, and then what if we're gonna buy, rent, lease something on another site. And I think those are all discussions we're gonna have to have.
Would have been great to put them in old Ladysmith.
But that is a discussion I think we need to, you're correct, we had a brief discussion about that, and I think that's gonna have to come to a head with a little more detail, and I'm just saying everybody needs to think about what is in the realm of possible, so that we can not block any place where we're gonna build something, so you're not abandoning that space at the critical need, because you're building something and we gotta move it, because that's where the building's gonna go. Nobody wants to do that, because you're like, where am I going? Well, we're gonna get rid of that for 6 months while we build a building, and then it takes a year, and all those people are cast to the wind. So I'm mindful of we need to collectively think about this
Well,
and look at
I
it.
think that's it. We know we have the money to do that one time. So-
Right, and he's already found a location that we could probably make as part of our investigation, but it shouldn't take a month or two.
All right, so
Yeah,
let's
I don't think this
finally
is
make a
anything
decision.
that takes any,
Yeah.
it's not a lengthy process at all.
He's way ahead of the
All right.
program.
Anything else on the budget? We've seen it, because the next topic is, discussion of the proposed budget. Thank you, Mr. Hughes. Didn't mean to cut, I'm just trying to, if I let them talk, we'll be here till midnight. And nobody wants to be here that long.
Mr.
The-
Cully, can you put for me, since we're moving on, I'm sorry, Miss,
That's all right.
the list of all the tax rates in the counties, the first couple of slides?
Parks and Recreation?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, Parks and Rec and
And-
the library, both here, if you would listen to both of them. they'd
Library
cover
and
it.
HR. See, we get wrapped around the big ones. We started with the sheriff and Commonwealth's attorney. Who wants to, I'll let you guys volunteer. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next, Mr. Chair. Just want to put a plug in to reclassify the HR manager position to HR director. If you look at localities that are similar in Carolina, I'm not talking about larger localities, but if you look at Orange and Louisa, well, maybe slightly larger, but comparable. Goochland, Powhatan, Dinwiddie, New Kent, they all have HR directors, not managers. And as the department has grown in recent years, employees have grown. Me functioning as HR director and having less and less time to devote toward those functions, I believe the time has come to upgrade the position from manager to HR director. I would envision moving our current HR manager, reclassifying her up to HR director.
I was gonna say, I was gonna give her the opportunity
Yeah, I
till
wanna
you
hear from-
jumped up to have her come on down and,
Come on down, that's right.
come on, you may as well, if you're gonna jump up, you may as well come on down and stand at the podium.
Well, while she comes up, I will say she's done a great job in helping people get, their insurance things.
Especially you, Floyd, because
Set
you're
up.
late.
Very much so.
Right.
Good evening, everyone.
Good
Good
evening.
evening. I guess my question is, certainly you're in agreement with moving from manager to director.
I am.
From your perspective, the HR department as a whole, where do we need to be looking and moving going forward as the HR director?
Our main concern right now is space. I have a great team, awesome team. I wouldn't be myself without them. They're actually a great team to have, but we don't have space where it's just where they can't even talk on the phone at the same time. That's how close knit we are. So right now, that is my main priority. But everything else, we're doing fine. We got everything. We got the new vendors. We got for the benefits, and going electronic is one of the main things we have to do right now as well. I know Mr. Cully was on board with that, so we are working through that and getting that done. But that's
So-
our main thing right
So
now.
workload and everything is,
Workload is busy. There's a lot of tedious, busy work. We're busy. I have 2 full-time people, but we are busy. We have a lot going on because as soon as open enrollment finish, we're getting ready for the next year as well. With all the new hires coming on, we're having a lot of onboarding. Onboarding now orientation used to be where it was only 15 minutes. It's gone now to almost 3 to 4 hours. So we be in more detail with the benefits. We be in more detailed with the county information, making sure all employees are aware of everything that's going on, especially a lot of the new information that we've implemented. So,
and that's what I want to hear, okay.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have any space, is what you said, right?
Have you been in there?
Oh, no, it's a
I'm just
closet.
repeating.
It's a
I,
closet,
I've been in the space many times.
no windows.
Most don't even know where they are located, which could be good, but,
They're in the back around the corner in the dark.
right. You gotta go through the special door and ring the bell and,
Yeah.
but you've heard space, I mean,
Yeah.
space is, pick an office, I don't think there's anybody that's not,
Mhm.
and that's something that we're gonna have to address, because again, it's the slide puzzle problem. Once we do something,
Mhm.
it alleviates space every place, because everybody gets to shift around. I'm not sure that's true with just the public safety building. Does give us,
Well, public safety, when the sheriff would move over there, and
Then
he would
would
have
give
that
us
space.
yes, we would have space. So that would give us the ability, and everything is connected, which is the one great reality is that the network we have is in all those spaces. So you wouldn't be in the wilderness for that. You'd be actually connected to something that's already existing. So the public safety building gives us the biggest bang for the buck when you look at the sheriff's office space and then moving out. It gives you a lot, gives everybody, gives Mr. Cully a headache or somebody to figure out who's going where.
That's the thing we need to decide is the plan of if A goes to someplace, where does B go?
And how does C, D, and E move
Does-
around?
Does the commissioner of revenue and the treasurer need to be in the same building with the county administrator, or can they be across the street somewhere? That's
They
the
go back to
discussion.
where they came from, actually, when you think about it.
Well, actually, some of where they came from doesn't exist.
That's true.
It's
But-
gone, but yeah, kind of.
I'm glad you said space, because you are, as you've heard, you are not alone.
Uh-huh.
And it is a situation we now have to tackle. And the ball lands here, and I think you've heard us all collectively say we've got to do something, and the space that makes the most sense is to move public safety into their own facility, and then all that space becomes available, and we can then figure out how to move everybody around.
Yeah, but yeah, we're getting the work done, with the limited space. We're getting it done. We're handling all of the employees in the county, and we come in smiling, because that's what we're supposed to do.
Well, thank you.
That's HR
Thank you.
people.
Yep. Anything else for us while you've got the microphone?
No, I think you're awesome. I'm glad you gave me the chance to speak. I've enjoyed my tenure here at Caroline, working under Alan. He's a great boss, and
Oh, sorry. Did I say that out loud? I'm sorry.
He'll give you the envelope on your way back to your seat.
no, but it's been great. I appreciate you all letting me speak.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And our new Parks and Rec director, come on down.
We're working.
No, we just need 5 new grass fields.
We're working on it. I had a plan for that. You got to get the land.
We-
I'm still talking over ladies. Yeah, ladies.
So 5 grass fields, 5 new grass fields. Would that make you happy and you would just have to sit down then? Is that not enough?
That'd be a great start. Good evening.
Good evening.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Justin Bullock, Caroline County Parks and Recreation. This is my first opportunity to engage with you all. I'm just shy of 30 days here. It's been a lot of meeting, getting acquainted with folks, engaging with the community, but I'm so grateful to be here and to work with our department. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Well, since you're new and you've just evaluated everything,
Sure.
just kind of curious, we've had all kinds of discussions about fields. We've had discussions about space. We've had discussions about, facilities and, turf and no turf. And you're probably coming at an interesting time because we're now really looking at space. We've been looking at how to expand the park. We've just renovated a lot of the park down across from the middle school. We've spent over the last 5 years a good amount of money in there. I'm sure you've seen the improvements that are there, and you probably have some other ideas. You have the trail back there now. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to look at that. We've got some other land down there that we're hoping to look at for some other fields. Looking at some ways to how to get water to those facilities so that you're not stranded in a desert with brand new grass. Never a good sign. Any comments, suggestions? It's an opportunity to, you've heard everybody else. We've had pretty frank discussions about what's what. So just curious in your early look, you're new here, fresh eyes on things, what you might think.
Sure.
Suggestions.
Yes, sir. Well, I'll begin by agreeing 100% with you. It's obvious the investment that's been taking place within the park system. It looks amazing. Wonderful amenities and opportunities for the residents and visitors to get outdoors, live healthy lifestyles. Kudos to you all for the work that you're doing. With regard to the field usage, it's a lot of traffic taking place down there. I've began to have conversations with Mr. Pardon, with Public Works,
Mr. Hughes and myself were back there talking as well. It's going to be a collaborative effort that's necessary to be able to address it. The public schools, of course, as well. I have some meetings scheduled to have conversations with some of their athletic leaders. We're going to have to try to tackle this collaboratively and see what the best approach may be. Of course, there are several different variables, pros and cons involved with them all. Resources are a huge portion of that conversation as well, but being able to adequately provide safe and useful facilities is something that we're actively in conversations as we speak.
Mr. Underwood?
Yeah, thank you for being here, Mr. Bullock. You're asking for a full-time public relations person.
Yes, sir.
Tell me a little bit about duties, responsibility, and what it's going to bring to your program.
Sure. So for full transparency, this was a position that was submitted originally by Mr. Howard. He had requested for a public relations coordinator in reviewing the budget, working with the administration. I asked if I could make some minor amendments, and for with that position, I added to that not only the ability to have someone to serve within the department to help us market, to help with the development of our activity guides, to be able to help with graphics and releases, and for a marketing and an advertising approach, because we ultimately want to get the word out. This person would also serve as a special events coordinator. So as we work to continue to try and best serve the residents, bring forth quality activities, events, special events primarily, this person will be responsible for that to help lead the programming within that section, help us to market the department as a whole, and continue to share the great recreation opportunities available in Caroline.
Who's taking care of those responsibilities now?
It's sort of a catch-all. Each individual within their respective section has that responsibility. If I'm sure you all know, marketing and advertising, it's a full-time job within itself to continue to just share and bring awareness to the activities, ongoings that you have, the post and follow up to be able to share that, to continue to just bring awareness to the department and the services that we provide.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Question
Mr.
for
Thomas?
Mr. Bullock, in your assessment, have you by any chance run across numbers per activity based on Parks and Rec? Have you seen those?
That is something that I'm actively starting to look into, trying to see the numbers as far as participation, attendance, things. I'm working on that as we speak and monitoring those numbers to try and gauge and get better understanding to them.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to see those when you get those, because I think that's very telling. And then Mr. Cully, I don't believe Parks and Recs are responsible for the maintenance of parks.
No, that's correct. That's public
That's
works.
Public Works. So we need to have Public Works check with the park in Mr. Seeley's district, Bob Farmer Park, which is behind the schools. I had a citizen ask about the park and said the maintenance wasn't quite right. So
Depends on what part of that. Part of that the school maintains.
That was my dilemma is
well,
the majority of that is school. Very little of it, as I recall, is ours.
Correct. Joey's an expert on what pieces and parts of that we handle and what the schools handle.
okay, I'll ask Mr. Shebel to talk to the
I don't mind.
schools about
We
it.
write it down and
Okay.
he's out.
Oh, right. Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Seeley?
Yes, sir, Mr. Black.
Just real quickly, because this will be capital, because I know we're talking about more park area. What's your take on, I know you're just starting the job, but turf fields versus grass?
Don't answer.
That's a loaded question.
Don't answer. That's exactly right.
And you're at this, you're kind of at the trajectory of everybody for that, so.
Sure.
I've got a study from Virginia Tech if you'd like to see it.
Absolutely, please.
Okay.
As I mentioned, I know that there are pros and cons on both sides of things. I believe as we investigate, look at the options that are available, the resources that are required, continue to collaboratively make a decision and move in the best interest of serving the citizens.
So turf is what you're saying.
We talked about this during the
Yes.
interview. He's very well, should be,
That was good.
That's why I
well-versed
opened
in
with
knowing
5 new
how.
grass fields.
Right.
I opened with 5 new grass fields. Wouldn't that be just the answer to everything that you need? So I tried to, sway you in that direction quickly.
Sure. It's my goal to investigate all approaches, all of the options, bring forth the information to you so that you're educated and we'll make the best decision.
Internet to search.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Anything else while you've got the microphone and we're here, by all means, anything else you want to bring up? Sometimes the fresh look is the painful look because we've all been looking at this from, one vantage point for a long time.
Oh, no, again, a wonderful recreation department, park system. Of course, we're going to continue to try and work and make improvements where possible, where it makes sense. I look forward to the opportunity to have conversation and dialogue with you all as we continue to try to meet the needs recreation-wise for the residents. So thank you for your time and thank you for all that you do.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Welcome aboard.
And last but not least, sitting in the far corner, I appreciate that.
So I think Mr. Cully and I were on the same page about the 2 requested positions. This is a future planning kind of thing. So if the library doesn't get these positions this year, it's not going to be the end of the world, but we do eventually want them for succession planning, to help with manager coverage, and to help retain staff, because we do have a lot of younger staff coming straight out of either college or library school. They come into the library, work for about a year or so, and then they move on. I just had one that started in Chesapeake this year. So if we can get at least 2 more full-time positions, that would hopefully keep some of our talent within the house. So
That makes sense because I think everybody's facing that with anybody new a year or 2, and then they're looking to move on. And sheriff's got same problem.
yeah.
Chief Loftus got same problem. I don't think there's any department that you're coming after that hasn't seen the same thing. Everybody works for a while and they're like, oh, I can do that job somewhere else. And I think they're
Branch assistant. Right here. It's 2.
That's 2, okay.
Yeah, it's 2. And you can see that it's expensive, but the pay grade is not tremendous. 2 is that salary, but then there's your health cost if they were to take the maximum plan. So that's just an unknown. You have to budget for it. It could be much less than that if they're both singles, but you have to, when you're planning for these additional employees on all of them, we plan that worst case scenario. So sometimes we come ahead on that.
And you said this is kind of looking forward to the future.
Yes, sir.
Where does that take us to then? If we do this,
Mm-hmm.
does it take us a couple of years out, 5 years out, 2 years out?
Yeah, I'm thinking within the next 5 years, that's when we definitely need to have those 2 people in place. I have 2 branch managers that are 20 plus years of service, or just about there. And I know they're planning on retiring. So I want to make sure that I have people in place so that when they do retire, or if people leave the library system, we have backups in place that we're not scrambling. So.
Okay.
Yep.
Question.
Mr. Thomas?
I'm sure that you have space in the library behind us.
We do. We took over the old literacy council
Right.
space, so that helped us out a lot.
Don't
So,
tell anybody that, they'll take it from you.
well, we had to trade with Public Works, so
That's why I
for one
asked.
of the rooms. So
He's looking,
Yeah.
he's got a map up and he's like, here's 2 spaces.
I know there's other space behind where the Virginiana collection was, and
oh, that's still back there. The Herb Collins collection is still back there. So, yeah,
is that the subject of frequent use or not?
it is the biggest problem we have because of Herb's stipulations on how we used it, and even in his will. We have to have staff back there with a person
Right.
when they're back there because a lot of the stuff is rare. And so that being short-staffed, occasionally we have hard times getting people, being able to have the opportunity for people to be out there.
Because it will walk.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was just wondering if there's other people that could share that space.
It's gonna be tough.
No, it's not very big.
I mean, I can take you back there, but it is
Oh, I've been back there.
full to bursting
Yeah.
with
I-
Herb's things. So
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
Anything else for us while you're up? And
No, just expect to see these positions every year until I get them. So
thank you, and
Yep.
we will work on it.
thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Underwood.
I just have one other note on the budget.
Okay.
I see that Mr. Cully put in conversion of 3 part-time litter pickup to full-time.
Correct.
And I just want it to be noted publicly that this is the result of people living in Caroline County throwing out trash on the highways and the byways.
and people passing through.
Yeah, but most of look at the back roads. A
Yeah,
lot of the back roads are horrible.
Correct.
And these are people that live within the county. So really you're taxing yourself because we have to do a better job with the litter pickup across the county. So just wanted to make that note. I think it's what,
Where's the litter?
130,000 basically.
Yeah, because of health benefits.
That's been
so
less than a penny, but
yeah.
still.
Oh yeah, way less than a penny. And the problem they have is just with it being part time, it is a tremendous turnover. And what Mr. Shebel had said was, once they're on in full time, they could then, if say it's not a good day to pick up litter, but they make it work at a
Do something,
convenience
right.
site, yeah, they could switch off with other things, keep them working.
But I just wanted to make that note that this is something that we're doing to ourselves.
As I
For
got
litter
a
pickup.
call at 6:30 Sunday morning after the trash pickup on Sparta Road by the Sparta Ruitans that 89 bags of trash were picked up between Newtown Road and 301. And you're right, Mr. Underwood. That's not necessarily travelers passing through on that route. That is people that live that way that probably just don't want to look at what's in their car, so, or truck.
A lot of it blows out of truck beds. No, they don't, but paper bags.
I did see like a quarter of a sheet of plywood in an odd shape that was picked up and leaning against one of the bags. I drove through there on Sunday afternoon and saw some of that. So, but we're taxing ourselves doing that. You're exactly correct. That is the most accurate description of that anybody could have made.
All right, the only decision that really I would like for you to make to help us get an ad in the paper tomorrow would be to, come up with some recommended proposed advertisement tax rate. And I would recommend that you go up enough that you would have ability to have funds for next year without whoever's doing this next year asking you for an increase then as well. So, I mean, I've shown you what it takes to do some of the things that you want to do. We have an unknown. We don't know what we may end up having to give the schools or, and that type of thing. And that if you're going to do some of these positions more than the 9 that I've got in there at the 56 range, certainly 59 to 60 cent advertisements, not the end of the world. We've advertised 8 cents before and not had people run us out. And you do not have to vote for that much, but it gives you the ability to have the flexibility moving forward to do something. You've been, certainly informed by Courtney that we can't spend too much out of our fund balance and move forward.
Mr. Cully, what was your original recommendation? Because we've switched slides so many times. I've seen 52, 56,
Well, 52 is where you are now.
58. See, King George is at 68.
Oh, no, we've never gone up some of the ones we've advertised. We advertised 8, we didn't go up that much.
We've never gone down. We ended up with always. Because the year that the board said, let's go 6 cents. Right. We'll never do 6 cents. And then we did 6 cents. Well, somebody else.
Yeah, you did, but yeah, I can't remember who, but.
Well, we are going backwards fund balance wise And if we're gonna do raises for the raises for public safety, just the raises for public safety are 3 cents.
But that's not fund balance though.
No, I'm just saying that keeps us, if you're gonna, we can't go into fund balance for operating budget.
Right.
So if you look at just public safety, that's 3 cents according to Mr. Cully's spreadsheet, just that.
Correct.
So if you don't go 3 cents, you can't do that.
Fund balance. You have fund balance numbers from that report?
20, yeah, I do.
I'm just trying to be realistic about what it means. And that's not raises for the rest of the staff, correct?
I left mine
Yeah,
on.
remember, there's 1.6 in there before any raises.
Well, we went from like 28 to 27 something. It wasn't a significant decrease. And from my perspective right now, first time I saw the budget, I think that there are enough issues in the community. Gas prices, food prices are coming right behind this.
Inflation.
That there's enough strain to not raise taxes and still be able to do most of what we want to do here from the fund balance.
The fund, it can't go to the fund balance for operating cost.
That's the way
Courtney's
the
already
budget
told us.
works. That's
That's
the way the
what-
budget works.
But that's what Courtney told us, is we couldn't go to fund balance for the operating budget.
That's the way the budget works every year. He says, I'm taking X number of dollars from the fund balance to balance the budget.
No, I didn't, this year's only for stuff that was one-time capital.
One-time
Yeah,
capital
the-
cost. But
Last year you did that, right?
Yeah, for 26.
And the year before you did that, right?
Year before we took from the fund balance, and that's the 25 year.
And
And we think we went into the fund balance of, $1 million.
but every year historically, our revenues exceed our expenditures. Now, we do things during the year where we say, take it from the fund balance, which is totally different. But every year, our revenues exceed our expenditure.
if we don't do something revenue-wise, we're not gonna be able to do the raises that everybody's talking about.
And
It's just
Mr.
not there.
Mr.
Built-in core.
Mr. Black?
Mr. Seeley, I would be okay. I mean, I agree with you, Mr. Seeley, and I mean, we can't go, I don't want to go backwards to where we were 10 years ago, or borrowing money just to survive. I mean, if we really want to,
You
if we
say
really,
that was never the truth.
well, Courtney Rogers said it was the other day, so I guess he must have been lying.
He didn't say that.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll have to go back and watch the
He
video.
said it was
Anyway.
a cash flow issue.
Yeah. So the the issue is, for me, is if we really want to help out with public safety, I mean, no one ever says, hey, when they're calling 911 for whether it be a deputy or a firefighter, what's my tax rate? And to me, we go ahead and advertise the 8 cents that Mr. Cully said, and you can always come down. I mean, so you can start at 8, and then he gives us numbers. I mean, I would like to do more for Sheriff Mosier than what he wants this year, just because of the fact of where we are. So to get those deputies up to a range that's reasonable. And I know Mr. Underwood had said it's either, staff or pay, but sometimes that mixes together. You won't get the staff if you don't have the pay. And I really think that if we advertise for the 8 cents, we want solid deputies on the road. We want solid firefighters coming to the 911. And that's what seems Mr. Cully's a huge part of his budget seems to be public safety. Plus, we don't even know if the state's going to go up on schools, which I'm sure they will, which would mean they would have to go up on schools. That's all. Thank you.
Mrs. Long?
There's also been a lot of talk about space that we're going to need to build. And emergency services building is not going to be cheap. So do we want to really thin our bank account down to a skeleton, or do we want to gradually go up? I would rather have a gradual increase in our taxes than to burden us with a heavy load of debt in a couple of years when we do have to start building. So I would agree with advertising a tax rate of 56 cents.
So that's 4 cents.
And I think that's very conservative. I would like to go higher, but I don't think I have the votes to pass that.
You realize that
Mr. Underwood?
8 cents is 15% increase. 8 cents that he's asking for is 15% increase in everything you pay.
4 cents.
That's just an advertisement, Mr. Thomas. Doesn't mean you have to stay with it.
We've already had that discussion, Mr. Black, but thank you.
The reality is that we are in a vulnerable position of growth where we need people, we need assets, we need
Space.
we need funds. I'm not too much worried about the space. I think that can be handled. I think our budget always gives us a little bit of a cushion, and I respect the job that Mr. Cully does, and I appreciate but I'm going to make it a little tighter on it this year. I can't see with the way the economy is, and it's not going to get any better anytime soon. You got a number of people in the county who are on fixed income, and every time gas price goes up, inflation goes up, whether we like it or not. We had the assessment last year,
Right.
which hit people very hard.
Yeah, but the average person didn't pay any more in real estate tax. That's the irony is, I did 20 people's taxes for them on the phone.
But
They
that's
said,
not true. Though. We got
well, I'm going to tell you, the 20 people that I did, their actual, what they paid in taxes went down from, some were only $25 less to 100. Well, they called me. I didn't call them.
Right, but I didn't have 20 people tell me their tax rate.
No, I didn't. I had 20
I had plenty tell me that it went up.
They told me they went up, and when I did the formula to tell them what their new, what
Tax
they were
rate
going to
was.
pay,
Right.
actual pay,
Their
their
actual
assessment
dollar.
did go up.
Right, the assessment. I'm talking about the actual tax
Their
dollar.
actual tax bill,
Tax dollar.
the lowest one that I did, the one that went down the least was $25, and I did several that went down 100 or more.
I didn't have anybody go down. Correct. I didn't have not one person in my district that I got a call that says my taxes rate went down. My tax dollar that I owed to the county went down. Everyone complained. And I'm not talking about the assessment. I'm talking about the actual dollar that
I'm
came
talking
out
about
of
actual
their
dollars they
wallet.
paid, right.
Right. Wow. And we can verify that by the amount of money we got in real estate increase based on assessment, because it wasn't on the new properties, right, Mr. Cohen?
The real estate was, the equalized rate was 50 cents and we went up 52.
52.
But
Right,
there
so-
were properties that were underneath the average. It always
But there's
is.
always
So
going to
the
be a
people
one
that
or two.
went
There's going to be some outliers. I'm just
people
talking
that
about
went up way more than the average, and a lot of them were farmland and things that they had found that hadn't really been adjusted since 2006. And then there were others that didn't go up
Took
to
the
the
biggest
average.
hit. Just raw land that's
Raw
being
land was
farmed
a big thing.
But
took the biggest hit. But
But
not
again,
there are plenty of,
the economic condition that we're in right now, and I don't see any change in the next 6 months. I don't see any change. So that means we're going to go through.
We haven't even felt all the impact yet.
So that means we're going to go through the rest of the year, and we're going to tell people we're going to increase their taxes by. I can't do 8 cents. I can't do.
I'm not saying do 8, but we've got to
Okay.
do something because we
He said
can't.
8.
Well, that's what was said.
Jeff Black said 8, right?
Yeah.
Did you say 8, Jeff?
Nancy said 4.
I can't do 8.
I did say 8 just based on the fact that you can go down, but if 6 is the number that, I think that was Miss Long said 6 to go up to
No, Ms.
58.
Long said 4 cents.
So I mean, right now I would prefer definitely to do the 8, but
No 6, and he can't hear it.
so that would, I'm okay with 6. I don't really want to go lower than 6.
No, we do whatever we have.
Every year we say we're going to do, and we're not going to advertise this and come down. We've never come down.
We don't come down.
we've never given any kind of tax break, so no, I can't do it. I
Yeah,
can't
see,
do
there
it.
was a time, and we're still looking at the time when certain things will roll off the debt service. And we're supposed to give that money back. You're not giving it back by going up again?
We don't have anything new rolling on to any service for the
Not next
numbers
year.
that we just looked at.
No, they're.
Charlie, go back to
they're
the
in the near
first slide,
in the
Charlie.
near future.
Mr. Cully, can you go back to that first slide, please?
In the PowerPoint,
Yes, sir. One with the revenue, I'm sorry, not the first, keep going, where it talks about the revenue generators over the next 10 years or
Oh,
whatever.
that
it
was
is.
the data center stuff.
Yeah, but that's
I just want to,
looking at the debt service.
I just want to see what it is.
where was that? Gotten tired.
Right there. So the reality, if you look at this, is that we've got a couple of years that we're just going to have to be very conservative. So that's just the reality. You can't get blood from a turnip, and so I think we have to be reasonable. Sure, I would like to increase if all things were neutral and we were not in an inflationary economic situation and the world wasn't in the shape that it's in, I could see maybe increasing tax, maybe it's 5-6 cents, but it's very difficult right now. And if I were the citizen, I'd fill this room up talking about a tax increase because it's not going to be pretty.
I understand what you're saying, Mr. Underwood, but respectfully, you also said that we need to pay our workers. We need to take care of our deputies. We need to take care of our first responders. So if we're hiring more people and we want to take care of them, tell me how we're going to do that without doing a respectable increase, a reasonable increase.
Well, there are things, Mrs. Long, that we've done before, and we've delayed the raises maybe a quarter or half the year. I mean, we all understand we want to give public safety, school teachers, all those people the raises that they deserve. We just are not in the position right now to do it. So maybe we look at some options and say, okay, if we give the raise at the first quarter, this is what the impact is. If we give it at the halfway point, this is what the impact is. We're going to have to ask our workers to work with us. Well, if we say right now we're going to make all the raises kick in at 6 months, those numbers go to half, right, Charlie? So then I need $3 million from the fund balance.
But that's only next year. But next year, the revenue isn't there because we still haven't increased enough. So next year, you're going to be behind the curve on what you need for revenue to pay for what you gave for raises last year because you only did it half the year. So you're just, it's the magician's game of, you know, you can only see half of the room right now, and then you cross a point, and then you see the whole room, and you didn't know it was that big.
But this is just data center revenue. You know, this is not other business revenue.
There's nothing big gonna be done until 29.
No, that's just this.
Anything that's looked at down the road is nowhere on the radar right now. It's not even on the scope. So you can't even plan on that. So my concern is, yeah, you can move that, but the revenue is still going to be needed the following year, and you're going to be behind the 8 ball the following year that you're going to have to then pick it up. So if you're going to do a raise, you've got to pay for it this year. You've got to pay for it in the year that you do it, or you're paying for it the next year. Yeah, and it's going to be more than just what you've done because there's going to be hidden cost in that. Ask gets us in
Huh?
real trouble.
No different than now.
Yeah, it is, because you're gonna have to make it up.
Or so what you're saying is not no raises then, is what you're saying.
Can you bring up the tax rate for the different counties, Mr. Cullen?
Yeah, who cares?
I don't know. Mrs. Long wanted to see it.
Yeah, this is.
Counties is based on so many different variables that you can't compare Caroline to Stafford. We can compare, but we're comparing the cost of paying teachers to what we pay in Stafford, but there's no comparison. Their budget is $2 billion and the tax rate is 98 cents. Come on.
Yeah, and there's things you can't do that.
You're looking at the top ones. Look,
Alright, look
King George. Look at King George. Look at Essex, Goochland. Those aren't Stafford County counties. Those
If
are
you
closer
drive
to
through
what we
Houston
are.
County, see how many
and we-
millionaires out there, you'll laugh.
And they are higher than we are. I'm just saying, you can't expect to hire the best if you're paying the least.
Goochland 53 and we're at 52. We're at 52.
Right.
Then let's go to 53 then.
Mr. Seeley, Dinwiddie is always compared to, like, as far as a similar county to us. I know Mr. Cully has always said, hey, you know, Dinwiddie is a very similar location to Caroline. Powhatan as well.
Thank you.
Dinwiddie's outside of Richmond.
It's Petersburg.
Petersburg.
Off 85.
It's like us being outside of Fredericksburg.
Yeah, Petersburg and Fredericksburg are totally different. You know, that's what I'm saying. It's being outside of a big city versus.
Well, I'm saying you cannot tax the lowest amount and expect to treat your employees and provide for your citizens when you're taking in the least amount of any of these counties that surround us. That's all I'm
Who's got the
trying to
biggest
point
budget
out.
on this? Who's got the smallest budget on this thing? Who's got the smallest budget here?
King, Queen,
Okay, who's next?
Essex.
You know, that's the problem.
Yeah,
We're
I
third.
mean,
We're third.
that's
King
the
George's
relationship.
budget is,
And King George, we just said, has a landfill.
but there's still 68 cents.
They give 40% of their budget to schools. At least it's closer to 50, but that comes from their landfill. What'd you say? 55.
She said 56 or 55.
You can't increase your raises and provide for the things that we've all been sitting here talking about wanting to do and not increase your tax rate. And keep your fund balance stable for those emergencies that happen.
You know, I always hear that. I'm wondering what emergencies we need the fund balance for.
Don't go
Jewish.
there, because the list is long.
Hmm?
The list is long.
No, I'm asking Nancy.
Well, we got water improvements, we have old lines, we have a subdivision that has leaks all over the place. It's probably gonna need some help. We need to raise salaries, I'm sorry, not rates, for our employees. Health insurance has gone up. They need money to pay for that. And we need money to pay for our share of that. Things have gone up this year. So you
I can go
can't
through a whole
promise if
list
you
of
don't
fund
have the
balance
funds.
stuff that we've all talked about.
Mr. Seeley,
Yes.
can I make a motion that we advertise then? Can I make a motion that we advertise at 58 cents? Then that would be 6 cents. I'll come down from my 8. So I'll make a motion that we advertise for 50, it's 52 right now, so 58 cents.
I have a motion for 58 cents.
52 right now.
It's 52. He's going up at 58 would be 6 cents.
with the restatement that you could come down. but
We can
can't go
always,
up.
all we're doing is advertising the max rate.
I second.
I have a motion and a second for 6 cents. Discussion. I mean, just the raises. For just the raises for public safety, fire and rescue and the sheriff's office is 3 cents, correct? Yeah, that's what you showed, but that doesn't include the rest of the county employees. That's just public safety.
Can you show that again, Charlie, please?
Wait, you gotta go up to 15.
It's the full monitor. It's very difficult. Find everything. All right, here. At the top of that.
You got 1.6 as the increase for salaries?
All right, I took everything but public safety out. So we go back over to the other sheet.
He was just trying to get to 3 cents.
Yeah, that was 3 cents. That leaves you about 491, but
Then you got 4 million in fund balance coming out if we do everything.
yeah, but that's
there.
with all those new hires. You can take all. I can zero all that out to figure that out.
No, leave it all in there.
You're gonna do all the new hires?
No, I just want them to see what everything is first.
Yeah, that's just public safety.
So if you put in the county, the rest of the employees,
That's when it goes to 1,950,000.
and we're down 137,000, and that's at 3 cents.
Yeah, it eats up the whole 3 cents.
Now, schools is a 2%. Was that 2% for the standards of quality?
I think they're at 3. I don't, but they haven't. They got 2 different budgets, so who knows what they're going to ultimately do.
See, we don't, this doesn't, what, does this give
I
the
gotta-
schools, what does this have in it for schools right now?
1,030,000.
1,030,000
That
for
Dr. Calvert
schools.
showed.
But I mean, I'm asking for the curiosity of it. The standards of quality is something we have to match.
That's what
They
they
could
said
use
we
the
had.
$1,030,000 that we're giving them to match that 2%. That more than covers it.
Is it really? All right.
That's it. So we're still, so if we go to 56, Mr. Cully, can you put 56 in there and show us where we're at? And that's less than a penny left.
So I'm going up 4 cents there, which is basically 8% increase. So if I paid if I pay $1,000 in real estate tax, I'll pay $1,080 per month or per time, June and December.
I mean, if we don't do that, the raises, you don't make it, and the school, we still don't know what we're gonna owe on the state side of, what the schools get for state money, what the county's portion is gonna be.
Mr. Seeley,
Yes, sir, Mr. Black, go ahead.
I thought there was a motion and a second.
We're still in discussion.
Okay.
We're still in discussion.
still end up 3 million, well, at 56. You still end up 3 million in the fund balance. Traditionally, Mr. Cully, that delta has been $1.5 million, 2 million revenue versus expenditures. Normally.
What we budgeted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've collected better revenues. In the couple of years where we went ahead on the fund balances, where we were actually budgeting 2 million to 1 million transfer to the utilities that we did in May. So we came ahead in the fund balance that way. But as Courtney pointed out, we budgeted in this year and 25 for more sales tax than we ended up getting. So I've cut sales tax back down. So we've lost that as revenue.
Cut it back down by how much?
Million.
Sure, that's about a cutback.
We didn't collect it. We didn't collect it this year, though.
We may lose money on interest. Yes, sir.
He's looking for sales tax now.
What was the number we did not collect on sales tax?
5, 6 million? It's right at the bottom.
Where is it? There
Oh,
it is. The local sales tax.
Right there.
You-
So
we
you had a
didn't
shortfall
collect-
of-
down a
we
million.
were short 1,096,000.
We were climbing and I guessed wrong.
So we had a shortfall of 1,096,000.
But that was an overestimation.
Overestimation, right? Well,
We know we're probably not going to get it. So that is a more realistic number this year.
And now we're at, this is year to date.
But isn't you're saying
Yes.
2.6, isn't
That-
that
that-
kind of low?
That's
Year
what
to
we
date.
I think that's I don't. Tika, that year to date you put in, was that
What's that?
December? The year to
Yeah, that's
December 31st. That's 6 months.
Okay.
So that's our fun time. We have Tika Neptune has helped with the budget prep, sitting at the table. If you haven't met her, she had to key that in from the AS400 because you can't get that.
I don't think it's going to
get
be
that in something that you can
low.
put in
I don't
Excel.
think-
So,
half the year we're not halfway into what we actually budgeted.
but no,
2.6.
at 2.6,
That's half.
At 5.2.
that's 5.2.
5.2 million.
5.28, almost 5.3.
If it
So,
And we don't want to be
But-
down.
But we're still not hitting the number.
It's 300,000 less.
Someone's gonna try to be ambivalent.
I think $1 million. That's
The number that I
That's a
have in
penny
now
right
is an
there.
estimate from the state. I got a report out of Department of Taxation, and that's where they're estimating at 4.5.
There's just no way we're on the downward trend of this.
they're estimating 4.5 million.
Yes, the state.
The other thing is we have to remember we've got buildings we have to build. We can't be going borrowing out of the fund balance and then expect to get a loan to build a
But
new
we're not going to
building.
take money out of the fund balance for operation there.
We will if we don't get enough revenue in.
No, we won't.
Where would it, if we don't collect revenue, the only place we have to get it's fund balance.
No.
And we're off on sales tax, and if the General Assembly actually gives the schools more than we're anticipating, we're gonna have to match that. And right now, we got 1,030,000 in there, and and there's no way around that,
I
so
don't
if it's
think- but
more.
I don't think that number's going to be that far off that we need to go into the fund balance to make us go. If they raise, if you look at a percent of what we're giving schools now, if you look at it by percentage, if they raise them another $500,000 in funds to school, you're probably talking about raising the contribution from us, maybe 25 to 50,000.
We agree that just to give fire and rescue and.
No,
the
wait a
sheriff-
minute, let's stay there first.
Okay,
Let's stay there
I'm gonna
first.
agree with you. You're saying we're not gonna have to do another more than
So we shouldn't
25,000.
have to go
So
to-
we're at
okay.
1,050,000.
Now let's go. Right,
Okay, so we're at 1,050,000, which is above what we have budgeted.
right.
We all agree that the public safety
Okay, let's talk
is
about
gonna
it.
3 cents. That's,
Public safety will cost
is
us 3
called
cents.
3 cents. And the rest of the employees, right, and that's what, 1.5. And then our employees is another 500, it's another 600,000.
Right.
And we've already agreed to do the 600,000 in health insurance that we picked up.
660, right.
So what I'm saying is you're at 4 cents. All I'm saying is we're at 4 cents right there. We've already spent, if we try to do this, which I think we're all in agreement that we are at 4 cents right now. Public safety, county employees, and the health insurance. We're at 4 cents.
Charlie, can you pull the public safety number up again for me?
That's up, but I've got what Mark Bassoon gave me for personal property. And that's in the spreadsheet you're looking at. And it's right here. But anyway, that's in a different spreadsheet. Public safety, less health and dental is 1.25.
We've already
got that bar
approved
built it
that.
in. That's why I subtracted it out. I've got it in there, but it's already in. Oh, that's a different chart.
That's it. Yeah, I was
if you
gonna
want
say,
new employees over here under new FTE. So that I can tell you with the 3 deputies, the health insurance is $90,071 and the dental is $22.21. For a total of 3 deputies is $298,176.94.
So we're already at we're at 4 cents technically for just sheriff's office. Is that fire and rescue also?
Fire and rescue is another $298. See, the starting pay is the same. So the six people, 3 deputies, 3 firefighter EMTs, it's $298,176.94 times 2.
So it's 500,000.
Make a choice.
That's 600,000
600,000.
for just those 6 employees. It may be less if they take different insurance, but I can't budget against that.
But
we can take an average of 100,000 per employee. And I didn't buy their cars. I didn't buy their guns and all.
Oh, yeah. See, one thing, fire and rescue's riding on the same vehicles. If we get 3 new deputies and you're ultimately gonna be adding to the fleet some vehicles and ammo and uniforms, and this is just personnel costs.
I'm just saying that just where we are, just to level set everybody so that we're all on the same page. It's 3 cents. It's really more than 3 cents, but it's because it's almost 4 cents for public safety, for fire and rescue and sheriff's office. And that's no other employees. So at 6 cents, we are covering the new fire and rescue, sheriff's employees, their raises, and the county employees' raises. That's all that 6 cents covers.
And maybe one other employee.
Excuse me?
And maybe one other employee.
Maybe one,
Maybe,
one
but
out of 5.
I'm just trying to be, I just want to make sure we're all on the same page, because this is, I think we're all in violent agreement. We need to do something for public safety. I think, I haven't heard anybody say anything differently this evening. Mr. Black, you're on board with that too, correct?
Absolutely, 100%. I mean,
Okay.
I'm ready to vote on the motion.
I understand. I just got to get there.
And I just want to remind everybody that we also have a planning department that needed several people, and we haven't even discussed those possible positions yet. So we're certainly not asking for anything outrageous. We probably should advertise a little bit higher and think about it, but that's my opinion.
Ms. Long, if you're okay with it, I can change the motion to 7 if that makes you more comfortable.
I'm just looking for, I'm looking at the real numbers. We're all, none of us like, the reality is tough. There's just no way around the reality of this.
Then you have to go to your pencil and make cuts.
What are you gonna cut?
If,
We're talking about increase in, so what would,
what you're
where
saying,
would you
but,
cut?
hey,
Just give me a suggestion.
I don't know, I have to look at it, so I wanted to see it on paper, but the reality of it is, I mean, like I said, based on the tax rate, it would tell us what we need to do.
Well, I'm taking what we're saying we wanna do and what that costs. That's all I'm looking at. I'm not
I
looking at
understand what you
anything
want.
else.
Yeah, I know.
And we've gotta advertise a tax rate.
Yeah, we do.
So I'm just trying to, I don't wanna get here and everybody have a new idea after we set this and they're like, we really need to do this and we can't. Because we wanna plan some buildings, which is gonna come out of the fund balance. So let's go down that
That's
path. No, I agree, but you're saying if we don't have money, we can go to the fund balance and I'm saying,
No,
well,
I didn't say that. No.
I'm just
I'm
saying
never
that.
saying going to the fund balance.
Okay,
I'm not.
but we are
I'm
going to
going-
the fund balance for some things, correct?
We're going for one-time
One-time expense.
that we've always agreed that we would spend
Completely,
one-time money.
completely agree. I'm just saying to you that we all agree there's some one-time stuff we're going there for.
Absolutely.
Okay. Cause
That has nothing to do with operation. It's strictly.
but operation-wise, we all agree that it's, it's $1 million for schools, it's public safety, and it's county employees, and we've already done the insurance.
3,600,000 right there.
So that's 3.6 million, and raising taxes 6 cents is just about $3 million, a little over $3 million. So it's not like you're raising it to save it. You're raising it and it's, you know where it's going. Somebody's got, if I'm doing the math wrong, somebody correct me.
Yeah, no, as a matter of fact, one more penny would maybe get one employee at the planning department.
Cause yeah, we haven't done
We haven't done
anything
anything for that
other
department.
than fire and rescue and the sheriff's office. That's 3 each employees.
Yeah, about 560.
So if we bring another penny, that's gonna be.
I would do.
5 people over
Oh yeah,
planning.
that would do planning and inspections.
Yeah, it's not like one person.
So were we, so
We're not gonna get the.
The motion's for 6.
then we're not doing any
Mr. Black,
raises.
what was your
No,
motion?
we can't. There's no money.
6. Motion's for 6 cents.
Mr. Cully, real question, one question. Did you say the planning would be included in the 6 cents?
No.
In 6, I'd have to figure out what we could cover with that.
I can't do 6.
But you don't think the planning,
Not
because
all,
that was
not,
one of the things.
not all
well,
of
that
it.
was,
Go back to the drawing board.
that was one of the things we're way behind is on planning.
Well, then let's talk about that because,
Bite off some of the rate.
see,
If we
so
don't have
turn your
to.
mic on because, this is the first time I'm hearing this. So what would
I
we
said
not do?
before to raise, we could look at all of these things. Maybe the raises in December instead of July
That
1st.
leaves us short next year,
Well, we look at it again next year, but the other thing.
but
is
you've already
maybe-
given the raise.
Let me finish. The other thing was, maybe we can't do all the raises we want to do right now. Do some now and some next year.
So tell me how you split that.
Go back to the sheriff's number. Go back to the public safety number.
I mean, I want to give him
But
all the 10,000 that he asked for, but I can't find the 10,000.
That's 5, that's,
That's
no,
5.
no,
That's
the one that shows the 5,000 per,
That's 11% for public safety. 11.41.
go back to the chart you had,
This is 11
chart that you had,
point
the 5,000, the original conversation about 5,000 versus 10,000 per employee, and
That was the PowerPoint.
he had it up.
I don't
Yeah,
remember.
but it was, I think that was PowerPoint, it wasn't.
No, I didn't have an amount for the 10,000. I would have to figure that out.
Well, show me the 5,000 one he had.
That's the one he had up.
Yeah, that's 5, which is 11.41% is $1,251,155.
Well, you had one with the percentage.
That blue line that's coming across there is totaling up all the public
No,
safety.
you had one with the percentages next to it, Charlie. That's it. You had 5,000 per.
It's a starting pay goes up 5,000 to 58,124.97. And if you went up 10,000, that's 18.8236%. 5,000 is 9.41%. It's right there, down at the bottom. So if you went 10, you're just going to raise your percentage from 11.41 to 20.82316.
But all I'm saying is, it's to do what we want with raises is 6 cents. But I'm hearing Mr. Thomas and I'm hearing Mr. Underwood saying they can't go 6. So if we can't go 6, what are we cutting? Because we've got to kind of go forward with a plan tonight, because do what?
We have a motion on the floor for 6, so if we're gonna take a vote on 6, then we come back with another motion. But the motion is 6 right now.
We're in discussion, and what you're saying is neither one of you two are voting for this, and you're not voting for it when we go to the final budget. So if you're not gonna vote for it, so if we do nothing, then we're doing no raises because there's no money. I mean, the numbers are there. I'm just trying to follow the numbers and what we think we're gonna do, because what we wanna do and what we can do are two different things.
Mr. Cully? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Once again, I'm just curious because I'm listening to Mr. Seeley and I'm agreeing with him. I mean, the math is there. My only question is, one of the things we had talked about is how our planning department is so far behind on some of the inspections and so forth because they only have a couple employees. Mr. Hughes has told us that, and I was wondering, just to reiterate, does the 6 cents include the planning people or no? I can't hear, if someone's not speaking on the mic, I can't hear, but that's fine.
I'm trying to calculate that.
I was just doing math in my head, Mr. Black.
Okay, I just
changed so many things on the spreadsheet, I've lost track.
6 cents. We said it's 560 is what each penny represents.
566,297 is the number right there.
So that's over $3 million. Right? Isn't it more like 4?
We don't have 6 in here. I've only got 4 in here. So 6 cents would be 58. So it's 3,397,786.
Almost 4 million. So 6 cents is $4 million more.
And you would have left over enough to do all the planning if you actually went up to 58.
Okay,
I think
yes, Mr. Seeley, can we take a vote or?
Yeah, we can take a vote, and
6?
And I'm going to play devil's advocate in this because I want a realistic number. So, Mr. Underwood, how do you vote? First, the number's 58. It's a 6 cent tax increase.
Right. Advertising.
Advertise a 6 cent tax increase.
We're not voting on a tax rate.
It's just a vote now. We're done with discussion.
What's that?
6 cent tax increase. Go from 52 to 58.
Advertising.
Advertise 58 cents, a 6 cent tax increase.
I can't vote.
I just need a vote.
You want mine?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Ms. Long?
I vote yes.
Mr. Thomas?
No.
And I'm going to vote no. So where are we going? Because the motion dies.
You didn't get Jeff Black.
Mr. Black, go ahead.
Aye.
He voted yes. He said aye.
Yeah, so it's 3-2. Motion dies.
Can we go back to the sheriff's office and take out the 3 deputies for a second? what that number looks like.
Mr. Seeley,
Yes, sir.
do you feel like it needs to go up or down?
We're gonna get to a number, Mr. Black, that we need to know where everybody's at, because if the answer is we're not raising taxes at all, then everybody's time tonight was here for nothing. But what's got me a little frustrated is we all want to do the public safety raises. We agree that's 3 cents. There's no mincing
Maybe we
words,
can-
that's 3 cents.
We want to, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying, we've all said that was our primary thrust is we want to do public safety, that's 3 cents. So if we go from 52, that's 55. The other employees is another penny. So that's 4 cents. We've already agreed to the health insurance, which was 666,000. So that's 5 cents. We've already spent the 666,000. Already said yes to that. It's a done deal. So that alone is 1 cent. And that's even a little high for 1 cent because it's only 566. So we all agree that the sheriff's office and all the public safety is 3 cents. So now we're at 4 cents.
Maybe we can adjust that and make it to 2 cents by looking at the number.
Okay, I just want to know what.
I'm just saying, maybe we can.
Okay,
maybe
what do
we
we
can
want
go
to
back
cut?
in.
That's what I'm asking.
Go back in, look at the budget and start making some cuts.
Yeah, that's not a thing for tonight, but that's a thing that we can go on in another
Which is
meeting to
why
say,
we
yes,
advertise high and we can always come down.
we
That's
never
why
come
they-
down.
We
They
can't
give
go,
that.
the answer can't be 0.
Right.
And what I'm
No,
hearing
no.
is the answer is 0.
No,
And,
nobody's saying that.
No,
well, Mr. Thomas told me no tax increase.
that is my goal. How do I get to my goal
Goal's
is another
always- I
story.
think our
I may
goal
not be
always
able to
is-
get to my goal, but that's my goal.
Are you a good counterfeiter?
Yeah, my goal is always, I agree, I don't want to raise taxes, but realistically, we're gonna have to. I mean, like I said, I'm fighting tax increase, but I just don't.
I
And the
agree with
reason
you.
and the reason I say that, Mr. Seeley, is because we've had a tendency in the past to put a tax rate up, say, because we think we're gonna say we're gonna be over this amount and we're gonna lower it later, and we never have. And that's been a disservice to the taxpayers. For the last 4 years, we really haven't done this. We really haven't sit down and really had this kind of discussion about the budget. So I think it's good that we're having that discussion so people really can see that we are vested in this budget and vested in the citizens and what they're going through, because we're going through the same thing. We're taxpayers.
Right.
So now the rubber's meeting the road where we have a need and now we really don't have the revenue to do all of the things we want to do. So we're gonna have to make some tough decisions. And so the question is, what are those tough decisions? You know, we funded 25, 30 positions for schools that used to be through URSA, through the COVID, that were once grant positions. We funded those positions. So this is just coming back to bite us. We funded other grant positions. When you fund grant positions, this is what we're gonna get. So this is where we are. That's the reality of what we've done. So now we've got to make the tough decision. And we have to look at it line by line. And I'm willing to go line by line if I have to say, hey, I need 100,000 here, I need 50 here, I need 25,000 here, and try to get to a reasonable number. I think a reasonable number, honestly, for me is 4, maybe 5 cents. I can't go any higher than 5 cents. I just can't do it. In good conscience, I can't do it because I know what's happened in the past. So in conscience, I can't
Advertise for more than 5
advertise.
cents. Right.
Mr. Seeley,
Yes, sir, Mr. Black.
what would you like to, because you rejected the 6 cents, what would you like to advertise as? Because I mean, I think.
I was just trying to get consensus, Mr. Black.
Yeah,
I
no,
didn't
understand
want to
that.
leave here tonight with, I had 0 on one side, I had
Right.
3 cents on the other side, and then this is our opportunity to actually You know, we don't have anything on the backside of this, and
Yeah.
the real numbers are in front of us. We all now know what each thing is gonna cost.
So Ms. Long was okay with the 6 cents, and then
And,
Mr.
and
Underwood.
I can change my vote at any time
Right.
and reconsider. So, you know, I was on the prevailing side, I can make a reconsider vote, which is what I'm contemplating, because I just wanted to know where we were. So
Okay.
there's an escape route, I didn't leave us without one.
Mm.
Okay, I'm just trying to get some sort of feel for where we all are, because this doesn't get easier as we move forward. This just gets more difficult. But, you know, the sheriff was sitting here. I'm sorry Chief Loftus wasn't here, but we all have heard from him throughout the year. We know his call volume's up. We know all those things. I just wanted to hear everybody's perspective.
One last time,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Cully, how much in a dollar amount are the raises for the sheriff's department or public safety?
1,200,000 too.
Okay. And the percentage that's going to people, we don't know. We're just doing a new step.
The percentage going to the public safety people is 11.41%. See that 9.41?
Yeah.
That is the percentage that the whole public safety plan goes up. And then if everybody gets a step that gets an evaluation, a positive evaluation, we get another 2 because that's the step.
Okay.
So it works out to 11.41 for public safety. Everybody else is 4.25 that's on the pay plan, and those of us that are on the non-pay plan is 4%. It's what we did last year.
And 11.41% is how many dollars total again? 1.2?
Sorry, I got a slide over. Well, just the increase is 1.125 right here where but then when you add in FICA and the other VRS and other stuff, it's 1.25.
1.25.
And we've already agreed to 666,000 in medical that we voted on.
Isn't that already in the budget?
Yeah, that's in the budget in the line item already. That's not part of this chart because this 1.25 is less health and dental.
So I'm counting the health insurance already. I'm not counting it twice.
I'm not. This is less health and
It's not even in.
all this is see like group life and FICA.
Yeah.
And the stuff that is just a mathematical percentage of the salary that the county has to pay.
But what we're all saying is this is the plan. I'm looking at the public safety leads. I'm looking at them. We all just said, now, if you cut the 3 new people, that's one, but that's not a significant portion of this. Those aren't even in this number.
No, that's a different number.
So
that's 300,000 now.
That's
somewhere
another
else.
300,000.
Yeah, but
300,000 somewhere
it's
else.
not in here, right?
That's not
somewhere else, right?
Yeah, it's
Correct.
over here.
So if 11's too much, where do we go? You give Mr. Cully a number, give the sheriff a number, give Chief Loftus a number.
And God knows I'm a public safety advocate. The other employees are getting 4.25%. They're service employees as well. They don't do what public safety does. To me, 11.4%, 5%, and in this economy is a pretty substantial increase. I'm just being honest with you. I mean, we got to make some tough decisions. That's a tough pill to swallow. For me to tell a constituent or an employee that you're getting 4%, you're already at the bottom of the scale. The hourly folks at the bottom. So you look at 11.4% versus 4%. That's a big difference.
And the hourly people get that same percentage, so they're all on scale. So they would,
right?
That's built into the budget in a different way.
That's 11%, 11.4, and they deserve it. And yeah, Scotty knows I love them to death. But that's a good amount, Doc.
The reality is, I go to the grocery store and I want the big box of Cheerios, but I can't afford the big box of Cheerios. I gotta get the little box, which is not more efficient. Maybe we do something that's less and come back again. I definitely want to revisit them again.
Everywhere that the department has a proposed, see where it says retirement proposed,
Mhm.
and it's now zero over to the right because we took them out. If we put them in, it fills it in. So that's where you'll see FICA built in for all the proposed positions. So the salaries
yeah.
go in the regular salary line item, but
Mhm.
those three positions here or there, the library, parks, all
Come in the
those
bottom.
build into the individual budget by that other spreadsheet.
Gotcha.
Okay.
That's just how that.
And Ms. Upshaw was so gracious to say that if she didn't get her position now, she wouldn't be hurt. She'd come back next
So
year.
that's already, if I went to the
So-
library, that's already missing.
Can't do
If,
11.
if we cut public safety to 5.2%, rather, I mean, I don't know how you get there because of the way this is built. How do you get them instead of 11.4 to 5.2?
Just go straight.
Get them to
6. I can go-
7.
I can go to 6.
Well, see, I could go to 7 in that case.
I could go to 6 or 7. I'm just trying to cut money somewhere.
And we're gonna come back with the promise that we'll come back next year and find out how we can replace that percentage.
I don't disagree with you. I'm trying to get us to a number that we all understand and can
Let's start
go
off
forward
with 6.
with.
If you tell me what percentage you want me to put in G1, that'll change everything
What is
in
that?
public safety.
Let's go to
Move your
6
cursor
first.
so I can see it.
Oh, it's 9.41.
Go to 6.
Where's page down? Oh, there it is. Page up.
Did I save any money?
Up.
Probably not much.
Should.
877,234.
So you cut 400,000 out.
So almost a penny. Almost.
Well,
a
you cut
penny.
3%, 3.41% out.
That was almost a penny.
All right, let's go to.
Mr. Seeley,
Yes, sir.
wouldn't we want to do this after we advertise? This is, I mean, you can always come
I'm just
down.
trying to get, what I don't want is everybody to come to a huge disagreement when we have to when we have to vote on a tax rate. I want to see where everybody is, because this is the time. We're not after a
Slow,
public
let's go.
hearing, or we're not, I understand what you're saying, but I'm trying to get us to a place.
I'm completely uncomfortable with getting rid of the tax rate that's been, or the proposed increases for them, because in order to have, you need good salaries for good deputies and
Well,
firefighters.
we all, Mr. Black, and I agree with you
Completely-
100%.
We want to stay on what Mr. Cully had proposed for their increase.
Well, no, we don't. We want to look at it. We don't want to stay there. We don't want to look at it. That's what we're doing, looking at it. Nobody wants to cut. If we had our druthers, this is a good thing about a budget that a wants budget and needs budget. This is just part of going through the process. And this is part of the process.
This is who's already there. There's nothing new. So that brings us down to 877.
Correct. Brings
So
the
that's-
total, brings the total of everything down from 195 to 155. 3 cents instead of 4.
I guess it's a 3. All right, well, that's a penny.
Yeah, at least.
So now we're at
Mr. Seeley, I feel very comfortable that if we advertise 5 cents, we can get to 5 cents. I think I can get under 5 cents. Actually, with making cuts in the budget, I feel very comfortable with 4 or 5. I said 4 originally.
I'll second 4. If you
I
want to
feel
go
very
4.
comfortable that I can work with this budget and make it work at 4 or 5 cents.
I'll second your motion if
This-
it's 4.
well, he's saying 4 or 5.
You can't, you
And we
I said I'll second your motion if it's 4.
So
You ain't gonna
I
get there at 4, so whatever your motion is, Mr. Underwood.
You don't think we can get there at 4?
Nope. I don't think you're gonna get there.
You don't think we can cut enough to get to 4?
I don't know what because every department's asked for additional positions.
I know, you said, what you said,
So,
they
let me-
ask.
I know, but let me give you my rationale. Every department's asked for new positions, and you're talking about cutting. And I get what you're saying. We just took the sheriff and we took public safety collectively
safety.
from 9 to 6.
Yeah, and if you cut, that leaves 3 firefighters, the supervisor for solid waste.
Yeah, those are
And
positions
one-
we didn't cut.
Yeah.
And we haven't cut any positions.
No, you cut. Yeah, you
We've
went
cut
from
all
9
those positions.
You've cut. I was at 9. You've cut down to from 9 to 6 when the sheriff volunteered to, because he had volunteered that to me earlier today, and I didn't take it out when he said it. I didn't want to leave it in, at least see that it was there. But now he's volunteered to get rid of the positions, and you lowered the public safety.
Can I clarify
raises.
that?
Huh?
Can I clarify that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My
Sheriff.
statement was, yes, you might as well take the positions if I can't get the pay increases because I can't hire them anyhow.
Right.
So I'm in a
Oh,
catch-22. It's like
Right.
putting the cart
Gotcha.
before the horse.
gotcha.
If you lower the percentage, I mean, we're already 16 out of
Right. You
16
won't move up at all.
jurisdictions throughout. We're not comparing that 11% increase to the other county employees. We're comparing to the surrounding jurisdictions that I have to compete
To
with.
your ability to hire
So
people.
I am very dead last out of every potential county in the immediate area. And, if we're gonna continue to be last, we're gonna be last, but it's gonna be
Hurt.
no need
Gonna
for
hurt.
those positions because I won't be able to hire them.
So you're saying the extra positions, if we, just as an option, we could not do the extra positions, but give you the 11% raise?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And you were asking about the numbers. We did some research. 900 calls per year per officer is the average. Right now,
Okay.
if you looked at how many deputies I would need to accomplish that based on a study that was done, I'd have to have 70-some deputies, and I had 59.
That's what.
So that's the number you were looking for
That's what I'm
earlier.
looking for.
But like I say, if I can't get
Yeah.
the raise, I'm not gonna be able to hire the positions anyhow. Because even with this 11% increase, we're gonna be like 12 out of 16,
Right.
which is better than 16 out of 16. And I'm willing to work with that. But
Okay. How much do those 3 positions cost? They were
280.
still in the budget.
No, you took those out, but they were
No, did you take them out?
298. No, the new FT, I haven't changed that.
We didn't take it out. We didn't take anything out yet.
They did, took the 3 sheriff ones out.
You did?
So now we've heard from the sheriff again, lowering the percentage doesn't help it. I mean, he's willing to sacrifice people for the 11%, which we all, I think,
New
understand.
positions.
See, that's new positions.
That's a big difference. Sacrifice people versus sacrifice new positions. He's not losing any people.
No. But what he's saying is.
But I'm just saying, make sure that's
Right.
clear.
No, you're right. You're right. He's willing to sacrifice new positions to
keep the
pay the
percentage at
people that he's got.
11.41.
I can go back to that.
And see, and that's why I'm just trying to do the math, the 3 cents, the 4 cents, the 5 cents, the 6 cents, and how we get there. And that's all. I'm just.
I have a hard time with a 10% tax increase. I'm just letting you know that.
I understand. We're like every other consumer there is. We are consumers of goods and services. We're hiring people to do stuff, and we've got to buy things for the wastewater treatment plant, to run the sheriff's office, to run public works, to do just parks and rec. I mean, fertilizer, grass seed, basketballs, baseballs, all that stuff. Nothing costs the same as last year. I don't know what we do because we're in the situation of we're still expanding population wise, and the revenue that we're getting doesn't keep up with the actual expenditures that we have. And
We just have a couple of years that are tight.
right, but bridging those has always been the challenge, and we've been here before. We haven't raised we raised it 2 cents, 2 years ago?
Last year, we
Last
went
year.
2 cents.
We raised taxes last year and the
2
year
cents.
before.
2 cents. Dear,
Well,
We didn't raise it year before. We raised it,
We
we
did.
did the reassessment,
The reassessment was last year,
Right, we went up 2 cents,
and we went up the year before that.
1 cent,
1 cent.
1
And the
cent.
year before that, we went up to, yeah. We've
Alan,
gone up
can you
like, we've
research
gone
that?
up like every year.
But we've gone up in small amounts. We didn't do a 50% hike like some people up there did.
We will get, we will get to
so-
that, but it all runs together.
I'm gonna
Need to
call for
grow.
a vote to reconsider. Let me go through this. I'd like to call for a vote to reconsider
Reconsider which
the
one?
6 cents.
6 cents. Second.
So I have a motion and a second. Cause I'm gonna reconsider since I was on the prevailing side, 6 cents. Any other discussion? Mr. Thomas? Mr. Black, any discussion?
No, I think we actually need to advertise higher, but I mean, I'll compromise with 6 cents.
All right, so all in favor of 6 cents signify
No,
by.
no, 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 no.
to
All in
Oh,
favor of your
payroll.
motion?
I'm sorry, motion to reconsider. I'm thinking all in favor of reconsider signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Okay.
Call for division house, Mr. Chair?
Division of House, Mr. Thomas?
Nay.
I'll vote aye. Mrs. Long?
Aye.
Mr. Underwood?
Nay.
Mr. Black?
I vote aye.
All right. Now I'll reconsider the actual tax rate of 6 cents.
Second.
I'll call for a vote to advertise 6 cents. Mr. Thomas?
Nay.
Mr. Black?
Aye.
I'll vote aye. Mrs. Long?
Aye.
Mr. Underwood?
Nay.
So we're gonna be back to 0 tax increase.
No.
Okay. Well,
What are you talking about?
anything else? We've got the tax rate advertised. Any other? I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Oh, wait a minute. Leon has a matter he wanted to speak to.
Oh, all right.
Sorry, I almost forgot.
Thank you. Yes, I just wanted to let you all know that on April 13th, from the hours of 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Lewis and Clark Elementary School at 18101 Clark, New York Boulevard, VDOT will hold a public meeting on the proposed alternatives identified in the STAR study for the Ladysmith Road approaches and interchange. So I have some information here for you all to take a look at, but it is a public meeting to look at the alternatives that the VDOT has come up with for improvements at the Ladysmith interchange, exit 110. So I just want, that will be the day before your board meeting, so I wanted to mention that tonight so you guys will be aware of that.
Okay. Thank you.
The date and time again?
The 13th at 5 o'clock, is that
From
correct?
5 to 7, yes, sir, at Lewis and Clark Elementary.
We all good? Mr. Colley,
I'm good.
motion to adjourn. Closing board comments, Mr. Underwood.
Happy Easter.
Anyone else?
Motion to adjourn.
I have a motion, second.
Second.
Motion to second, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Happy Easter. Have a blessed Easter, everyone. Come to sunrise service at my house. 7 o'clock.
Hey, we got.
Clock.